What's going on, YouTube? Thank you for joining us on the Diamond in the Rough podcast, streaming on NMR Sports YouTube channel. We are joined by a very special guest today, Scuffy McGee. I'm sure you know him. Go follow him if you've not. But as always, before we jump into that, make sure you're following us on Twitter and Instagram at DIR Podcast. Obviously, this episode is going to go live on our YouTube channel. We just couldn't actually stream it on our YouTube channel yet. That's Diamond in the Rough Podcast on YouTube. And of course, it's also available on Spotify at Diamond in the Rough Podcast. And then myself, Mcneil42, MIC42. No, not MIC42, MIC Miller42. Forgot one of the most important parts. That's Twitch, YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram. Scuffy, how's it going, man?
Doing good. Appreciate having me on.
Absolutely. Finally able to get it going.
Yeah. We're here, so let's get it.
We're here with a real-life Mets fan. They do exist. I've never interacted with one this close before.
Yeah, me too. Are you being sarcastic, or are you actually? Is that like a real thing for you?
To be fair, I don't think I've actually. That's actually not a. That's not a like joke. I don't think I've ever talked to a Mets fan.
Well, you were like grew up in Southern California. Now you're.
That's what I was gonna say. You're probably.
So that makes sense.
It makes sense if you're from the West Coast. And
yeah.
That
I know a lot of Yankees fans.
Well, Yankee fans they're the quote unquote American team. I mean,
yeah,
have
that's
fans
true.
everywhere in the whole world. I mean, you have people wearing the Yankees hats. They don't even know what it is. That's what the Yankees do, so you'll find that everywhere.
Yeah, the Yankees are just out there.
It's kind of like that in California with the Dodgers. I feel it's worse for the Padres fans, I feel like, but you know, there's just a lot of obnoxious Dodgers fans out there. So
One ring.
think, yeah, right. Hey, we got a ring. We'll take it. Yeah.
What was that, like almost 20 years ago, though?
Almost 20 years ago.
Yeah, I should be the one talking, but I'm just saying.
Yeah. Wait, the Mets. Oh, I almost forgot about 2015.
2015.
Yeah,
we're the ones with the latest ring.
Ouch.
Yep.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
We
got 3
Y2K flashbacks.
Yeah.
Y2K. Yeah.
Damn, bro. So I don't think So you said your social media stuff. Scuffy, where can we find you on socials?
Twitter, it's Scuffy McGee TV. Everywhere else is just Scuffy McGee. That's either on YouTube, Twitch, TikTok, wherever you name it. The only thing that difference is Twitter on Scuffy McGee TV.
Every week we talk about. Yeah, every week we talk. We're gonna get some TikToks out, and then we never do. So gotta get on that grind.
Now that Nick has a computer, it's his job now. He's the TikTok guy.
Yeah, he's our TikTok correspondent.
I can take care of that. I can take care of the clips.
All right. Well, it's your boy NMR Sports per usual. You can find me on YouTube and Twitch at NMR Sports, Instagram and Twitter at NMR Sports 30. And then Nick Theriault, or Terrio as he likes to be called. You got a streaming setup now, man. Are you gonna start doing something soon?
Yep. You guys can follow me on Twitch at NickTerrio12, THERIAULT. Same thing for Instagram and Twitter. I should be starting streaming next week at some point.
Good shit. Let's go. Get this man affiliated day one.
Hell yeah. Got 5 followers already.
I mean, the YouTube chat's asking if you have a Lindor jersey.
Do I?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think I saw it on your Twitter. Oh, baby.
He does have a Lindor jersey.
Yeah, that's
pretty.
That was so sick. I saw that.
I had to.
I'm not gonna lie.
God,
I kind of want one.
I might get one too.
I was trying to wait for the black jerseys if they ever reveal it to bring them back, but I was too impatient. But I do like the all blue ones too. So either way, I'm happy.
The orange Lindor is super clean. I like it.
Yeah.
Born to be a Met, baby.
So glad we got to see his debut on. Oh wait.
No. But we got today, so I feel better.
Yeah.
No problem than anything.
Oh my God, we talk about this all the time. I feel like the sport is in such a good spot with like it's growing the game, all this stuff like Tatis, MLB The Show, cross-platform, all this stuff, and then MLB.
In general.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, what John Boy's doing, like all of it, but then MLB itself is just like they have a pistol in their own mouth. Like they're so bad at promoting their own game. Everyone else is trying to do it for him. It's like,
Yeah.
what are we doing here, folks?
And they're doing pretty well with Fernando Tatis Jr. too, and I can't even watch Royals games. It just doesn't make sense to me.
Can't stress this enough that you were in New Brunswick, Canada, not close to Kansas City.
Yeah, everybody asks me if I have like season tickets and all that stuff, and I'm like, no, man, I don't. I'm just a fan. I've been a fan since 2010, so.
Yeah. I mean, I don't really care about seeing Rays games, so I'm pretty chilling out here in Central Florida. But when I was in California, it was awful. I'd be like, oh, yeah, when I'm rich and famous, I'll get $64 a month MLB TV. And then I think I got a free trial for it one time, and I was like, bet, let's watch some Angels games. And I was like, the fuck? So I can't watch this? I can't watch the Dodgers? I can't watch the Padres? And I'm in so, like, what games do you think I want to watch?
Yeah.
And they're so random. I hear in like Vegas where Fuzzy's at, they're sometimes blocked out of like 7 games. It's ridiculous, man.
Yeah, it's stupid.
Yeah, because there's definitely the game's growing like organically. The players are more interactive on social media. I've seen we tagged fucking what was that Pirates guy?
Hartlieb.
Jeff Hartlieb.
We tagged Jeff Hartlieb in a post. We have 14 followers on our podcast account, and in 5 minutes he was like, "It's pronounced Joff," or "It's pronounced Jeff," and we were like, so the players are trying to grow the game. The content creators are trying to grow the game. Everybody except for at the highest level where it matters most are the ones who are trying to get the game of baseball into the, just the American mainstream, I guess, kind of like where football's at.
Yeah,
because
they're
football
just
is
dropping the ball
huge,
at this
dude.
point.
Yeah.
Enough about how much Rob Manfred sucks. Let's talk about how much the Mets suck. No, just kidding. But we are going to.
What a segue, Jesus
We are
Christ.
going to move on to the National League East predictions. Just like we do with the NL Central, we're going to go lineup, rotation, pitching /pitching staff, and then we'll do our over/under predictions. I have a bad feeling that this is going to be like the NL Central, where I pick the same number for more than one team because they are all so similar. But let's just jump right into it. Do you guys have the Mets? We're going to go in alphabetical order, so I don't know why I said the Mets. I meant the Braves.
Yeah, we're gonna say-
Braves.
Yeah, I got the Braves up here.
All right, first Atlanta Braves. Tell us their roster, Nick.
Do you want to start with the rotation lineup?
Well, let's go rotation bullpen.
Okay. For the Atlanta Braves rotation, you got Ian Anderson, Max Fried, Charlie Morton, Drew Smiley, he recently signed as well, Touki Toussaint, Bryce Wilson, Kyle Wright, and with the returning Mike Soroka. And
when is Mike Soroka coming back?
I think he should be good for opening day. That's what I've been hearing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm so in love with this rotation. Goddamn, dude.
Yeah, I was about
I'm in
to
love
say,
with it.
like, I don't understand. I feel like their rotation is really underrated, and I don't know how because of like the names that they have. Like, they don't
Yeah,
get
they're
enough
all
credit for
good.
one of the best rotations in baseball.
People don't talk about it enough. I feel like it's a top 5 rotation.
It's
Top
because they're
5,
so
top
young,
6
too.
rotation.
You gotta think of it. I mean,
Yeah.
besides Charlie Martin, Drew Smiley, but I mean, Max Fried pretty much put himself on the map last year.
Mhm.
Same with Mike Soroka was 19. He broke
Yeah.
out in 19.
And that was
Yeah.
just so unfortunate. Even being a Met fan, you don't like to see those injuries at all.
That was
And you have
awful.
Such a
What did
uh,
didn't he? Was it his?
Oh, that was a knee.
What did he do? Was it his knee?
it wasn't his Achilles. I thought.
Or no, I think you're right that it was his Achilles. That's what I was trying to think of.
Yeah, it was his Achilles.
Yeah,
Yeah,
not good.
but honestly, the guy I'm highest on this rotation is Ian Anderson, bro. Ian Anderson could be their ace. I'm not gonna maybe not this year, but maybe next year, 2 years from now. I'm super excited about him. I feel like we just haven't even begun to see what he's capable of. I know Max Fried's probably their ace at the moment, but obviously Mike Soroka coming back is huge for them, and Charlie Morton's been very good his entire career, realistically. So, and Charlie Morton's also going to be a really good guy for these younger guys to be around, who's had a lot of playoff experience, a lot of big game moments, and he's honestly hasn't really come up short in any big game scenarios. So.
Big Chuck, man. Big game
Yeah.
Chuck.
So yeah, I think this is a very well put together, and I'm super high on the Braves in general, but their rotation is probably the thing I might even be more high on the rotation than the lineup.
I would agree with that.
Yeah. Yeah, I really like the rotation too. And one other thing about Charlie Morton, I think he's 4-0 in winner take all games. I think that's what it was.
Really?
Like game sevens or something like that. Like from the last postseason.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
Scuffy, obviously, are the Mets not the Mets? Are the Braves your scariest opponent in that
Yes.
division?
Yeah. Until someone beats them, without a doubt. I mean, I have. Well, we're going over prediction. Should I not tease it, or? But either way, it's kind of like already teased. I'm already saying. Until someone beats them, they're the team to beat. They looked fantastic last year. Freddie Freeman finally got the MVP. He's always been on the verge, and then something happens. Either he gets injured or something like that. I was very happy, even in a 60-game season. I was very happy for him being Mets bias aside to see him do good and finally get recognition on that. So, but yeah, that lineup is, especially getting Zuna back. I still think the rotation is going to just get stronger if Kyle Wright gets his control issues put together. He could be as effective as anyone else in that rotation.
I mean, when you look at their rotation, even if they hadn't signed Charlie Morton or Drew Smiley, like their potential rotation of Soroka, Fried, Anderson, Bryce Wilson, and Kyle Wright is just
Bryce Wilson looked good in the playoffs last year too.
Talk about developing pitching. I mean, that's 5 studs that you developed like in your system that came up, and you have the solidified 5. Like people actually dream of that, and the Braves did it, and then they have even more pitching on the way. Like crazy.
It didn't work so well with the Sean Newcomb trade, though.
I
Acquiring young arms has not been the best for them, but
I forgot about the downfall of Sean Newcomb. Came up as like this hyped guy, and then just
dude, I was so excited for him as an Angels
Yeah.
prospect. And then we basically stole Anderson Simmons at that point. We traded Eric Ibar and Sean Newcomb to be a mediocre bullpen arm for them. So, yeah, but also Yozak is a big Braves fan. He said in my chat that Soroka will be back 2 weeks after opening day. So basically the start of the season.
Okay.
So, but it'll obviously be nursing an injury. So probably not a lot of innings pitched for him in 2021. But I think a lot of players are going to be under strict innings restrictions. So like you've brought up a few times, Mick, probably more than a 6-man rotation.
It's going to be I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if pretty much every team uses 10, 11, 12 different starters this year, just because I know they have more off days incorporated, but I mean, after not pitching much last year and then a full season, plus, I mean, the Braves are a team where not only are they going to be playing 162 for the first time in 2 years, they're not playing for the regular season. They're playing for the month of October, so they have to be even more careful about how they deploy their weapons. And luckily for them, they have a lot of them. So
yeah.
And in terms of their bullpen, Nick, what do we got?
The bullpen, we have Grant Dayton, Luke Jackson, Chris Martin, Tyler Matzik, AJ Minter, Sean Newcomb, and that's it. I think Huascar Yanoa, I believe he's also a reliever. I don't know if I said that right, but
the Braves bullpen definitely took a big hit after this offseason. They lost Darren O'Day, signed with the Yankees.
Will Smith.
Oh, they have Will Smith.
I forgot about Will Smith. Yeah. Sorry about that.
And they also lost
Melanson.
Mark Melanson. And there's
Shane Green.
Thank you, Shane Green. That's the other guy I couldn't think of.
He's still on the market. I'm surprised he hasn't signed yet.
We got an open spot in the Angels rotation or bullpen. Plenty of them.
What? Oh,
we got plenty of open spots.
I know Daddy Dimmu is a big. He's a big Braves fan. He's a big. He wants the Braves to sign more relievers. He doesn't trust this bullpen a ton. I mean, the names on it don't really excite you, but the results that they've had are still good. So, I mean,
yeah, let it out.
Yeah, I really like this bullpen. I think it's pretty solid. It doesn't have extremely flashy names like Will Smith, even though I forgot that he was in this bullpen. They get the job done and they're solid. So, and they have like a great pitching rotation too, and they have a great lineup. So like they have to depend on their bullpen, yes, but they shouldn't have to as much as other teams. because of that insane rotation.
I would say they're probably the second best bullpen in the division. Thoughts?
I don't really know the
Yeah,
bullpens
I
in
would
this
say that
division
because,
that well.
what did the Phillies do? They just got Archie Bradley. Who else?
Jose Alvarado.
Jose Alvarado. Yeah, I'd say it's second best. Yeah, I agree with that.
Because the Mets
Actually-
have got to be number one, right?
The
In
thing,
my opinion, yeah.
Yeah.
Side, but
the thing
No,
that's
I
weird
agree.
about this bullpen is they don't have a lot of good right-handed arms. Like they have three.
Other than Chris-
I'm looking at, other than Chris Martin.
Chris Martin.
Chris
but-
Martin.
Yeah, but
Other
they
than
only
Chris Martin,
like.
they're all lefties.
You think of most bullpens, you don't think of a stacked left-handed bullpen. The Angels haven't even carried a left-handed reliever some years, or literally we'll have one and it'll be Hobie fucking Milner. So, yeah, literally.
I hope
It is-
Hobie Milner never listens to this, or like somehow doesn't get back to it, because you shit on him every episode.
Well, yeah. Oh my god, dude, I could. What's there not? I'm sorry, Hobie. He's a cool dude. I've talked to him on DMs before. He's a nice guy, and he knows. Like I told him I was gonna play with his card in MLB The Show, and he laughed at me. He was like, "I think I'm like a 50 overall, bro. I suck." And I was like, "All right, well, at least he's a good sport about it." But enough about Hobie Milner. But they have some stacked lefties in here, man. Like AJ Minter was pretty good in the playoffs for them, I believe. Matzik was also
So yeah,
pretty
he
solid for
started. He
them.
had that 3-inning start, I think it was.
And then Will Smith is obviously a very good reliever.
The second most
Martin's.
popular Will Smith in the league.
Yeah, poor guy gave up a home run to Will Smith. He lost the
That
battle of
must
Will
have been pretty
Smith.
painful. That must have
Yeah.
been painful.
He's the spoiled prince, not the fresh prince. Interesting. Yeah, but I like their bullpen. I don't love it. I like it.
Yeah, it's okay. I mean, I will like going into October, Braves fans, like this is not your October bullpen. They're gonna get at least one more guy, probably two. I mean, unless for some awful reason they just suck, which obviously isn't gonna happen. Like they're gonna buy more pieces. There's still a lot of pieces out there, so I wouldn't worry about it.
Yeah.
Same with a lot of these contending teams that we're talking about. Like obviously,
is a
your
little
opening day roster
worrisome.
is not normally what your postseason roster looks like.
It is a
Yeah.
little worrisome they don't have a lot of depth, I don't think. Like, their starting lineup's phenomenal, but I feel like if they have some injuries, they might be a little bit hurting for guys. Because, like, the projected lineup I'm looking at least, with Alex Jackson, Jake Lamb, Yohan Camargo, Ender Inciarte. I think, didn't they sign Panda too? Pablo
Yeah, they
Sandoval?
still have Panda.
Yeah,
And they
I
signed
don't.
Jake Lamb as well.
Yeah, well, I
Don't forget
understand
about
that,
Travis
but
Snyder. They also re-signed Travis Snyder.
I
Wait,
just
what?
don't see, like, if
Yeah.
I don't know. I
didn't
just
know
see
that.
if Acuna goes down or Ozuna seems like he'd be the most likely to go down with injury, or maybe Travis d'Arnaud because he's a catcher. I just don't see them having the depth to be able to recover from something like that.
Yeah.
Obviously their lineup's really good, so assuming they stay healthy, I still see them as one of the best teams in the National League. But you know, you're a Yankees fan, you know firsthand how much injuries can derail a team that has potential to win the World Series. So that's what worries about me. Because when you look at a team like the Dodgers, oh no, Justin Turner got hurt. Oh, here's Edwin Rios with his 154 OPS plus career coming off the bench. Where the Braves
What?
have Jake Lamb coming off the bench. Who didn't he get released? I don't even know. He wasn't that great the last few years. That's what I'm trying to say.
No, yeah. He signed with the minor league deal with them. So
Yeah. So the depth scares me a little bit there.
I mean, Scuff, you might know
Yeah,
more
that
about
makes-
their
that
depth
makes
than we do, just because obviously you follow the National League East a
Yeah.
little bit more than we do. Are there any like big pieces that we're missing? I mean,
For the Braves,
Another-
no. I can't.
Not
think of
really?
anyone. No. I mean,
I don't know if they have any like bigger prospect. I mean, obviously Pache, but he's
they have
projected to
Pache,
start.
They have Drew Waters.
Oh, Drew Waters, you're right. I
Yeah,
forgot
Drew
about him.
Waters as well. That's the only I could think. The thing is, Drew Waters is always in trade discussions because the outfit was already set, especially now with no DH with Ozuna left. I guess Acuna's. Oh no, I guess Acuna's center now, back to center because of
I think
Ozuna.
Pache is slated to go to center.
center and then have
Acuna
and
right,
Acuna,
maybe.
then- yeah, right. Yeah, but either way,
Whichever one Ozuna is like not absolutely like whichever one he's the best at, even though it's going to be awful defense
Yeah.
no matter what. And then when
Probably left field.
Yeah.
It's probably gonna be left field.
I'm really tempted to pull up that clip of him trying to rob a home run with the Cardinals now.
Just falls like 6 feet in front of him.
Oh, it's awful.
I remember
sure.
back in like when he was on those like super team Marlins teams, like there's a clip of him playing center field. He came up as a center fielder, which is just shocking. And there's a play of him where he's trying to throw home, and he like goes to throw the ball, and it goes like 10 rows deep above the first baseline, like just completely sails everything, not even close. And I guess from that moment on, he's just never been good defensively.
Yeah.
I don't think he's ever been good defensively.
Our resident Brave expert in the chat is mentioning prospects we forgot that are coming up. Drew Waters, which you know from
Yeah, we
MLB The
mentioned
Show. Shea Langoliers, I've never heard of him. I've heard of Wilson Contreras, not the Cubs Wilson Contreras, but their Wilson Contreras. And then Bryce Ball. So
William Contreras. It's William Contreras. They're brothers.
okay, interesting. He said Wilson, but anyways. Yeah, so I mean, I don't know if any of those guys are ready, but we'll have to see.
Maybe Drew Waters in the next year or two.
Is that
Unlike
the
history.
DH isn't there now, but you can give AAA at bats to Drew Waters this year if the season ever starts. It got delayed another month today, and then with the CBA being up at the end of the year, you want to hold on to Drew Waters if he can still play outfield for you, because then you can bump Ozuna to the DH spot next year if we do get the universal DH, which I do think we will. But I mean, I wouldn't. I mean, as a Yankee fan, like Miguel Andujar and Clint Frazier have been rumored in trades since they made their major league debuts, and they're still here. Like,
Yeah.
trade rumors are just trade rumors. That's all they are. So.
Yeah, and Clint Frazier's not being used right. He's not like I think he should be like fighting for an outfield spot, but just because they have
Clint
just
Frazier's a starting left fielder. What are you
Yeah, he's
talking
a
about?
starting left fielder.
Yeah.
I thought it was Stanton and then Gardner in center and then Judge and right.
Gardner's not starting
Well,
either.
Hicks would be center.
Yeah, Hicks is center.
Hicks is center,
Frazier's-
Judge
Oh,
is
right,
right,
forgot about
Frazier's
Hicks.
left, and then Judge is DH, or Stanton's DH.
Stanton. Yeah. But enough about my Yankees. Enough about my Yankees. Back to the Braves.
We just
Yeah,
had
no,
that.
I didn't even do it. Actually, just kidding. I didn't do it. Anyway, so we mostly talked about their whole lineup, but real quick, obviously Ozuna's in left, Pache's in center, Acuna's in right, MV Freeman at first base. Second base is going to be Ozzy Albies, who I think is going to have a bounce back year. Shortstop, the guy who gets better every year. Probably trade of the century so far, Shelby Miller for Dansby Swanson over at shortstop. Third base is going to be either Johan Camargo or thick boy Austin Riley. And, of course, behind the plate, they have Travis d'Arnaud. Fantastic lineup, like we said, if they don't get injured.
Yeah.
Probably best in the division. That's the chance to be, anyway.
Yeah, if they do get injuries, I feel like they're kind of screwed with their backups that they have.
Yeah, so let's hope they've done some yoga with Aaron Judge this offseason. Fingers crossed.
But I feel like they haven't had too many. Like, they don't have the same injury history as the Yankees do, so just
no,
keep doing what
but
you're doing.
I don't know. It's gonna be nerve wracking watching Braves games, to say the least. Be like, no, don't slide. Just let it drop. We'll score more runs next inning. Yep.
So now that we've gone, unless there's anything else you guys want to talk about, I'll do our over-unders. The Braves are going to have the highest number. I'm going to go with, all right, I'm going to preface these numbers with, yes, this is obviously a really good team, but you have to remember they play in the best division in baseball. So these teams are going to beat the crap out of each other all year long. It's going to be a bloodbath. It's going to be fun to watch. So their number might not be as high as you think it should be, but that's my reasoning. So we're going to go with 93 wins for the Braves, over-under. 94. We'll go 94. I feel more comfortable with 94.
Really, I was gonna say put it lower.
Scuffy.
I was gonna say lower, 92, 93. Well, actually,
So you're.
yeah.
We'll take the under.
Yep.
All right. Just because, what's your reasoning on that?
Exactly what you said. They're just gonna beat up each other. And I think that's gonna be enough to get them to the division. To be honest with you, so. But yeah, it's just going to be a bloodbath. I think the Marlins are going to be a better team than we all expected.
I agree.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. 100%.
And it's going to be a fun ride. It's going to be a fun ride. I mean, it's going to be not going to be fun for me personally. Like throughout the times, I'm sure it's going to be a struggle here and there. But it's just going to be see great baseball when it's division games like that. So I'm looking forward to it.
Definitely.
I mean, if you listened to the NL Central podcast, I talked about it's the same thing except the NL Central is awful and the NL East is amazing, but they're just going to beat the crap out of each other all year. So it'll be really, really fun to watch, and I'm just so glad the team that I root for is not in the NL East.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So Nolan, you agree under 94?
Definitely under 94. I'd say 91 would be.
How many games did they win in 2019? I'm just going because they've won the division the past few years. You know, they are a really good team.
Yeah,
so I don't want to go too. I don't want to lowball them. But
I mean, the projections we saw had the Mets winning 96 games, so it's not out of the question that 94 wins could be a thing. But I don't know. When I project a team, it's really hard unless they're as good as the Dodgers or the Yankees to project them anywhere above 91. You know, if you have a weakness, I'm going to rank you around 90 wins if you're in a solid team with a weakness, which I feel like they have in that depth.
in 2019, obviously the last full season, the Braves won 97 games. The Nationals had 93, and then the Mets and Phillies the Phillies were exactly 500 at 81 wins, and the Mets won 86 games. But that's with a absolutely atrocious Marlins team that went 57 and 105.
Yeah.
So that's the biggest difference here is that the Marlins aren't as bad as they used to be, but
yeah,
still similar.
So I'd give him 91 is my exact number that I'd give him. So under 94.
Under 94.
I don't want to give him a floor because then I'm just going to jinx him. So I have my floor in my mind, but I'm not going to say it. So I'm high on the Braves, but not like a triple digit win just because of how damn competitive. There's not a weak team in the NL East. Even though people will point at the Marlins, there's not a weak team in there.
I'll go last.
Nick, what you got with that crispy new mic?
I think under, but probably around 91, 92 wins. Because like you've all said, this NL East is very competitive. And I think the Marlins are going to surprise a few people. They're going to get more wins than what they'd expect. So I think the Braves are definitely going to take this division, but it's going to be around 91, 92 wins.
Fuck all of you taking the over. We're going with 95 wins. Braves just go all out this year. Slug it out. Let's get 95 wins.
Hot take. Well, it's not really that hot of a take, but
I had to. I mean, I had to defend myself a little bit. But I mean, we were just talking if all things go right for this team, I think they're clearly the best team on paper. And I think 95 wins is definitely attainable. And their pitching is probably even better than it was 2 years ago. So the Marlins, yes, we think they're a better team than most people are projecting them to be, but they do have a lot of young guys, unproven guys, so that could tank. I mean, the Phillies are the Phillies. They always fucking suck in August and September for no real reason.
Facts.
The Mets are going to Met. Don't know. We hope they don't, but they might. And then the Nationals, I mean, they were awful in 2020. They obviously were projected to be better in 21, but we'll see. So that's my defense.
Okay. I see you.
Yeah, I mean, there's a chance. I'm sure one of these teams is going to win 95 games, but I don't know.
And if I bet
I like
on
to
it,
be.
I would bet the Braves.
Yeah, I like to be a little conservative in my projections. I don't want to look like a dumbass when the Braves when Acuna gets hurt and they finish last. So
joke about that.
Yeah.
This is an amazing player. We don't want him to get injured.
Oh no, he's a top 10 player in baseball, man. He's absolutely ridiculous.
Easily.
No, I love Acuna. He's one of the most exciting. I'd like to do, maybe I'll do it on a YouTube video, a top 10 most exciting players to watch, because there's a lot of them right now.
Yeah,
a lot of them are in the NL East. At least 3 of them are in the NL East and then honestly the entirety of the Marlins are kind of fun to watch, even though they're not the best team. I don't know.
I mean, I could watch, what's that guy's name? John Birdie. I could just watch him slap hits down the right field line and then run the bases all day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Luis Brinson pimp his 1 home run every year. Did you see that tweet? That was we'll talk about it when we get to the Marlins. I guess.
That was funny.
Yeah, I was going to say,
great.
team number 2 in the National League East that we'll talk about is the
Miami Marlins.
Okay, it is the Marlins. All right, I just completely
it's the Miami Marlins.
The alphabet just left my brain there for a second. It just seems like a big jump to
just
go
say
from
something
8
with.
I was like,
if you want to say it, just say it with confidence, and we'll believe you. If you said Washington Nationals, I would have been like, "Great, let's do it."
It's all, you're right that it is all about confidence.
Yeah, it's about confidence, about how
yeah.
you say it.
So it's this Philadelphia. No, Jesus Christ. Miami Marlins team. I can jump the gun. This Marlins team, we've been talking about them. We think they're going to be better. But their Marlins is really, really hard to project what their lineup and rotation is going to look like because they have so many young guys. Just off the top of my head, I mean, I can think about they have Sandy Alcantara in the rotation. Sixto Sanchez came up and was a stud last year. Pablo Lopez is really good. But after that, correct me if I'm wrong, it kind of falls off, doesn't it?
Well, you got Nick Neidhart. I think.
I have some of his rookie cards.
What else do you have? You also have Eliezer Hernandez. Ross Detweiler. He can pitch. He can be a starter. He could be a reliever. Yeah, that's pretty much it for the Marlins rotation, other than Sandy Alcantara and Sixto Sanchez and Pablo Lopez.
It's very top heavy, but I like the top.
Yeah, the top's really good, but the rest of it's pretty questionable. It's a lot of question marks.
Last year against the Mets, how did those three guys do?
Pablo, I mean, all three of them did good. I'm not too sure if we saw Sixto Sanchez. Or we might do for one or two starts. But Pablo Lopez and Sandy always. You really got to appreciate how good they really are. Pablo Lopez's changeup is just absolutely filthy.
Yeah,
I think he's very under the radar, unless you play against him in the NL East. And I like that 1-2-3. I definitely do. I think Sixto and Sandy could be a nice solid 1-2 punch, and then Pablo being 3. Like you said, the 3-4. It is what it is. There's not much to it. You get what you get, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
Pretty much. I don't know what else to give for the 3-4-5. But either way, just having that first 3 and then giving their lineup, which we'll go with soon, they'll be able to win games. They will be able to win games, and they'll be sneaky with it. Yeah.
That's what I was gonna say. Like when you have a starter like Sixto or Sandy or Pablo, like you go to the field that day, you're like, all right, our ace is on the mound. Like we have a chance to win today because of your starter. Like your starters give you the best chance to win. And the Marlins having 3 of those guys, I think that's why we all think they're going to be better than people are expecting them to be. Because if those guys pitch to their potential, I mean, we're talking about 3 wins in a row, and then just kind of a crapshoot for 4 or 5. But
yeah, I agree with that.
You're going to win some of the games, so like it's going to be fine.
Yeah, I mean,
And
when
it's
you look at
good
a lot of
good top 3 to have.
Yeah, when you look at a lot of rotations in baseball, it's very few rotations have a solid 1 through 5, but a 1 through 3 solid rotation, a lot of teams would kill for that, including my Angels. So that top 3.
Did.
Yeah, honestly, if you have a solid, yeah,
going
like
into this year, like I'm more confident in Sixto, Sandy, and Pablo than I am Cole, Kluber, Tyone, just because we don't know what Kluber and Tyone, 1, are going to be healthy, 2, what are they capable of coming off the injuries that they have. So like,
yeah,
maybe Yankees have higher potential, but right now I'm more confident in the Marlins starting 3, top 3.
That's a good comparison. That's a
Yeah.
really good comparison.
well, we saw the Marlins last year. They just have a lot of fight in them, man. They don't go down without a fight. They're not just like a pushover last place team like some like the Rockies or the Rangers are. Sorry, Rockies and Rangers fans, but that's the thing about the NL East, man. This is a scary last place team that you can't really sleep on. Because even that, like, I don't know, you think they have a pretty solid lineup with a lot of young talent on it, and then you don't really think much about their bullpen all the time, but this top rotation could definitely win them a lot of games. And obviously your 4 and 5 starters, I'm assuming they're going up against 4 and 5 starters. Even in this division, there aren't that many good 4 and 5 starters. I think the Braves would probably have the best 2, but going up against the Phillies 4 and 5, I think they got the edge there. I think even the Nationals 4 and 5. Tyson Ross and John Lester aren't nothing special, but yeah. So it's kind of a crapshoot when you get your 4th and 5th starters out there, and that goes for almost every team in the MLB right now, unless you're named the Padres. But so yeah, at the end of the day, I don't think really having a bad 4 and 5 starter is going to be that big of a deal for them. Also, this projection website has Sixto as their 4th starter, and I think that's adorable.
That's wrong. That's just wrong, man.
Yeah, it's this little website called Fangraphs. I don't know if you've heard of it. Sorry, Fangraphs.
So, like the Mets are projected to finish first in a lot of these projections. The Marlins are expected to finish last in every projection. So, like, Scuffy, for me, as a Yankee fan, I'm like, all right, the Yankees get to play, like, they have the honor of playing the Orioles a lot, which is good because that's going to boost our win total.
Mhm.
You don't really have that feeling as a Mets fan
No.
with the Marlins.
No, no. And it's sometimes even being the Met fan and just sometimes we'll play up to talent, but then sometimes we'll play down to talent. I mean, I'm not just saying it's this team that we have. I'm just saying just being used to that Met fan. That's usually how it is. So that's
They're gonna
in
Met.
my brain.
Mets are gonna
And-
Met.
Yeah, it is what it is. But yeah, I don't think you could take a day off when facing the Marlins. They'll find a way. John Birdie is a Met killer. It's funny that you brought him up before, but he is. He just gets base hit after base hit, and then he starts running on you, and
Exactly.
That's it. And you can plug him anywhere. That's the thing about him. I see him play short, play him second, everywhere. And I'm saying that with the addition with Duvall, I know we're about to go off the lineup, but this lineup, I mean, has the veteran and it has the young presence, which I really like.
Absolutely.
It has a mix of both, and I mean, fun to see what they can put together.
Yeah, without a doubt. They're the team I'm most confident could escape that 5th place projection. Because, like, if you look around the league, there's a lot of 5th place teams that are pretty much a lock. Honestly, I could definitely see them escaping that, which is really scary to think that the Nationals or the Phillies or hell, even the Braves or the Mets could have a bad year and end up in 5th place, because none of those teams should be a 5th place team. But
when you think about a team from the NL Central making the playoffs, and then you have one of those teams, like a team
being a
the
5th
NL
place
Central is
team.
a story of like someone has to finish last. It's like it's just mind-boggling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Nick, can you go over their bullpen for us?
The bullpen, we have Anthony Bass, who signed on the offseason, Richard Blair, Adam
Yankee.
Simber, John Curtis coming from the Rays, Dylan Floro coming from the Dodgers, Yimi Garcia, James Hoy, who we talked about in the podcast before, and Trevor Rogers.
Probably, if you're listening to this and you're like a somewhat casual baseball fan, you've heard of absolutely no one we just said.
Yeah.
But I mean, those are guys that get outs. I mean, I watched a decent amount of John Curtis with 2 S's, in the playoffs against the Yankees, and he was bad against the Yankees in the playoffs. But I mean, that might be the playoffs against the Yankees. That's not necessarily who he is as a pitcher. And Yimi Garcia it's kind of under the radar, but he does pretty well. He gets outs.
And James Hoyt too. He had a really good season last year as well. We talked about that.
Yeah.
And the underrated episode that we did earlier in
Mhm.
January. And I like Yimi Garcia as well. And Dylan Floro, I feel like he never really had a place left on the bullpen for the Dodgers just because they have so many arms. They just had to move him. But I think that brings a good veteran presence to the team, along with Adam Simber, possibly. A couple years ago, I remember that he was the worst against left-handed hitters. So hopefully that changes.
He throws. If you guys don't know who Adam Simber is, he throws from his ankles. He basically grazes the ground as he pitches, but it's not a fast from your ankles. He throws about 84 max.
Yeah.
Just shoves it up there. So fun to watch, but it's not. You're not watching for the velocity.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of Darren O'Day, like in his pitching mechanics.
Exactly. Yeah, but lower to the ground, and Darren O'Day at 45 years old can throw faster than Adam Simber can. So
Yeah, he'll probably be able to throw faster at 80 years old, man.
yeah.
Yeah,
I
we'll
know we'll
see.
talk about the other teams, but like I think I'm giving them the edge on the Nationals and the Phillies bullpen right now. The Marlins. You could make the argument. I'm not saying I'm all in, but
I mean, I'm not super confident in this bullpen. The Marlins do seem like it's a kind of team that's going to be able to... I don't know. They just seem like a team that's going to be shocking us. So some of those bullpen guys, because I'm looking at their projected stats, and projections hate these kind of guys. Kind of like when the Rays, someone will go to the Rays and they'll be projected to have a 5 ERA, and then they go out and have a Cy Young caliber relief pitching season. So I don't know if the Marlins are really capable of doing that to this pitching staff, but I don't know if I'd give them the edge over the Phillies or the Nationals yet. I would say this might be the worst bullpen in the division.
Would it change your opinion if Shane Green signed with the Marlins?
Absolutely.
Possibly,
Yeah.
yeah. I don't know. I
Yeah,
feel like the Nationals have a few guys in there, and they signed Brad Hand this offseason. I don't know. I just don't see the closer in this when I look at them. The only
Yeah.
name I really recognize and I know as a solid ball player is Yimi Garcia. All these other guys seem like good additions to a solid bullpen, but not the bullpen.
Yeah, not
That
like
makes
Jose
sense.
Not like
Leclerc,
Jose
Ranger.
Leclerc.
Yeah,
exactly.
you don't have a Jake Diekman at the end of your bullpen. You can have
Yeah.
this
It's-
bullpen, but you need like a Brad Hand, a Jake Diekman, a Jose Leclerc.
Yeah, like it's not
Jeff
solidified.
Hartley. Yeah, you need.
We've talked about
There's-
this before, though, where you can, especially in 162, you can piece together your bullpen and don't
Yeah.
need a closer. So
Tell that to my Angels that blew 15 saves in 60 games last year. But
I didn't say you don't need good pitching. I said you don't need a bonus, like you don't need a like this man is our closer.
yeah,
You don't
but going into a season with insecurity in your bullpen is not a fun thing to deal with. Can it work out? Yes. Is it likely? No. I don't know. I'd like to consider
agree,
myself a
yeah.
bad bullpen expert after many years of watching blown saves and walk-off grand slams.
Matt Olson.
And
Yeah.
Charlie Blackman.
Oh yeah.
Were
Oh,
two
yeah.
of them last year. Both
So the
unnecessary, by the
lineup-
way, in tie games. Gosh, you got to hit a grand slam. Just hit a pop fly to the warning track. Got to flex on us.
Hey, dude, just take the L and walk away. A loss is a loss.
Yeah, you got to flex
Let
on
him
it.
let him do it in style.
Doesn't have to go into the
Yeah.
scorebook as an 8-4 or a 7-4 loss. Or I guess it would have been 8-4 loss. We were tied, anyways. Yeah.
So their
that's a
lineup.
bullpen.
I'm blanking at who their catcher is.
Jorge Alfaro.
Oh, thank you.
He's actually
I was
solid.
like, the only guy I could think of was Francisco Cervelli, but I knew he retired. So
Yeah,
Nah, Chad Wallach, bro. Chad Wallach's there. I think he's gonna get the job.
So-
Chad Wallach.
I don't know. How to
and then
pronounce
over
it.
at
I
first
figured it was
base, they have former Brewers legend, definitely had a bounce back year last year, Jesus Aguilar. One of my favorite swings in MLB The Show. And then, of course, at second base, they have a few guys. I know John Birdie. Not sure if Jazz Chisholm's going to get the call this year. He's definitely a top prospect type up for them. Shortstop, Miguel Rojas. BABIP King was just nuts last year.
Yeah.
Third base, our guy Brian Anderson.
The
Left
man.
field, probably going to be Duvall. Center field, I mean, is it still Brinson? Like, do they give him the chance? And I think right field's probably
I think it
Garrett
would be
Cooper.
I think center's gonna be Starling Marte, and
Oh, I forgot
in
about
right
Starling
field,
Marte.
it'll be
Yeah.
Corey Dickerson.
No, I forgot they had him
Corey
too.
Dickerson
I don't know
left
why. I
field.
thought it was a rental when they traded for him last year. But
Yeah.
yeah, so the projected lineup that I'm looking at doesn't have Jazz Chisholm in it, but I think he will. I don't know if he'll be there opening day, but I think he should be there opening day. It has Corey
be there.
Dickerson, Starling Marte, Jesus Aguilar, Adam Duvall in the 4-hole, Brian Anderson, Miguel Rojas, Isan Diaz, which I don't dislike Isan Diaz, but Jazz Chisholm's clearly better, and Jorge Alfaro. So not on this would be Luis Brinson and Jazz Chisholm. I don't know if were there any other prospects missing from that.
They have Jesus Sanchez, who's 23,
Garrett
Monte
Cooper's pretty
Harrison.
solid.
and Magnus Sierra listed on their roster as well. So those guys will definitely probably get some playing time.
I really like Garrett Cooper actually,
Yeah.
even though he doesn't really have a spot in this lineup, which is solid depth, which we were looking for in these rankings. So, yeah, he's kind of an underrated guy, under the radar type of
Yeah.
ball player.
That's
Yeah.
that's who I was going to bring up. Yeah, Garrett Cooper is. He always showed promise. It just never fully polished it yet, and I think he can do that. I always liked his swing too.
Is he a Mets killer? I feel like every highlight I see of
Yeah,
him is Mets.
he's sometimes a Met killer, yeah. So that's instilled in my brain right now. But yeah, I always loved Cooper. I think Marlins fans love Cooper too. So,
I mean, as a Yankee fan, I think they got. I know he was with the Yankees, made his MLB debut with the Yankees. I don't remember who the Yankees traded him for, though. He might have been in the Giancarlo Stanton deal. I think he was.
could have been.
Yeah.
Garrett
so he came
Cooper
over-
was in. I think it was November 2017 was the trade. Does that sound
Yeah, I think
like
it
the
was.
Stanton trade?
Yeah, that was it.
Yeah, it is kind
There
of
we go.
interesting looking at Fangraphs. Only one player in their starting roster of this projected one without Jazz Chisholm is Brian Anderson's the only one that is a homegrown player. Every single other person was traded or signed or all sorts of different things. Kind of
Yeah,
fun.
get
little
off my
fact there.
ass, fans. It's not just the Yankees.
Yeah. But they do it in a we suck way, so we're going to trade and get all these guys, not oh, fuck you, we have all these prospects and stuff and money. Here you go. They're the opposite. They're the anti-Yankees. Same result, different way of getting there, I guess. I don't know. So I like their lineup.
Yeah, I mean, Scuffy, I'll let you take this one. Like, what do you think when you face them? Like, I think like the pitching
Brian-
scares you more.
Pitching. No, the lineup's still solid. Brian Anderson is, I still think, very underrated. I don't think he gets as much credit as he needs. He could put up numbers. And I do really like Jazz. I think he'll be the starting second baseman. With Rojas still maybe being the shortstop or the flip flop. But I really like Jazz because he has pop like against lefties, against righties, don't matter. I love his swing, and I really want to see how he progresses through the season. And you always forget that how we forgot before that Starry Marte is still there. I forgot. I thought he was a rental as well. And I feel like he made an impact once he got to the Marlins as well. Like from the start, I think the first game he made an impact, and it showed throughout the season. And
Unfortunately, he did get hurt.
yeah, he did get hurt. And then now adding Duvall gives you a little bit more pop. It's a nice lineup. It really is. Is it the best lineup in the division? No. I probably still rank it. I'm trying to think. I probably still rank it fifth. Oh no. I would have to go through each team before ranking the lineup, but it's it's quality throughout. I just know that they're going to kill the Mets. I just know it. I have it instilled in my brain. That's why I don't think they're going to be the fifth place team. I just know this team is going to be maybe the reason why that it's going to give the Mets problems because they always do.
Yeah.
I'm just making as a Met fan right now.
It's interesting. They definitely don't have a lot of star power, but they get the job done.
Yeah.
I think
I
Corey
feel like-
Dickerson is the perfect Marlin. You feel like that? Gets the job done.
Forgot he was
unsung
there, but-
hero. Yeah, right? I don't know. Corey Dickerson's a good, I don't know, spirit animal of the team, I guess. He's always been good.
Around
Doing
the
whatever.
block. He's been solid his entire career, and he's been on a lot of teams. He came up
Mm-hmm.
with the Rockies, I think. The Pirates traded for him. He was on the Rays for a hot
Yeah, I
minute
remember
there.
him on the Rays.
Now
He
he's
was
with
on
the
the
Marlins.
Phillies. I'm pretty sure he was on the Phillies too, wasn't he?
He might have been, but he's been everywhere,
Yeah.
and he's just been productive like everywhere.
Yeah, he was on the Phillies. The only reason I say that is because I was watching Bryce Harper's walk-off grand slam yesterday, and I remember seeing him like in the celebration. So that's,
Okay.
that's why I said that.
Yeah.
But
It's
yeah,
an interesting lineup. I do think it's the fifth best in the division, but you know, it could perform above the fifth best in the division. I think
Yeah.
1 through 9 they're more solid than teams like the Nationals. I think the Nationals obviously have the star power in the top and everything, and like a lot more talent in like 2 or 3 guys than the entire Marlins roster has in their entire roster, but at the end of the day, their 1 through 9 is consistent and it's going to perform, it's going to produce. Where teams like the Nationals, kind of like the Angels, where they're really top heavy, the bottom of their lineup could just not produce for months at a time, and that
Yeah.
can lead to a lot of losses there. I feel like this lineup, if someone's slacking, other guys will pick up the pace, kind of thing.
Same thing could be said about the Phillies too. Like comparing them to the Nationals, they have that star power on their team. They have Bryce Harper and they have JT and they have Rhys Hoskins. But like other than that, like
Falls off.
they're not as solid as the Marlins lineup 1 through 9 would be.
I mean, I like Didi, I like Bohm, I like McCutcheon, I like.
Segura's
I don't know.
there?
I think
Yeah, Segura's,
Segura's,
I think
yeah.
projected to be their second baseman.
Oh, he's still there?
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't know who their
Um,
center fielder is going to be, but we'll talk about them in a sec.
Yeah. But I was just gonna I feel like as a New York fan, There's just teams, guys, that play better against New York teams. Like there's just something about that atmosphere. I saw a crazy stat the other day. I was watching the Yankees game, spring training game, and they're playing the Blue Jays, and Danny Jansen batted, I think, under 100 against every other team. You know what he batted when he was playing the Yankees? 450. Just doesn't make sense, but sometimes those scenarios that you just have that hate for that team or just something about it, you want to perform because it's like the Yankees or it's the Mets, like that just happens. Like on paper you should crush them, and then they just I don't know, they just do the thing. It's so annoying.
Oh no, I've been there. I've definitely been there.
Yeah,
And I feel like that's
I was listening to Talking Baseball like 3 days ago. This episode, they were talking about Danny Jansen and the Blue Jays. Yeah, they mentioned that Danny Jansen always hit like 100 or something like that, and then once he comes up against Garrett Cole, he just demolishes him.
Just like G-Man Choi.
Yeah.
Well, now we're gonna move on to. Oh wait, just kidding. Just kidding.
Projections.
Over under. My bad. I got excited about the Mets. I don't know why. I can't believe that those words just came out of my mouth. But I think like we can discuss the number, but I think like 75 is a good number. 75, because they're gonna lose some games. They're in the best division in baseball. So I don't know, like if they're the fifth place team, I don't know if they can get to that 500 mark. So that's why I'm gonna go with the 75.
I mean, I see him as a 500 team. I see him winning close to, if not 80 games, 81 games. So I'd say over 75, but not by much.
Yeah, I'll say over, but just about like 77 wins. I don't see them getting to 500. But close to it, they'll give it. I've been feeling they're going to start out hot. I really do. Because I feel like when the back's to the wall, especially with that team, I mean, they kind of showed that last year.
Yeah,
they're
absolutely.
a very gritty team, and I think with the youth that they're bringing onto the team with Jazz, and you already see it within the past couple of days just for spring training, to energize with that, and I think they're going to start hot, but they'll cool off a little bit and then end around, I say, about 77 wins.
I don't mind that. Nick, what do you got?
I would say about the same. I think people underestimate them just because they don't have that star power. I think they'll probably finish around 76 or 77 wins. Like Scuffy said, I can't see them being like a 500 team, but they'll be close.
I should have gone with 77. I'm just off with my numbers. I would have been more of a debate. To make up for my over prediction with the Braves, I will take the under, but with 73, 74. I'm worried about the pitching, the longevity of it, and also, you could make the argument maybe some of these guys overperformed last year, like a John Birdie or a Jesus Aguilar. So I don't know. We'll see. I guess it depends on how good the top of this division is. But I will take the under, but barely. Because when you think about it, we just went back to 2019. I know they made the playoffs last year, but weird season. Just ignore that for a sec. Let's say they do win 77 games. They won 57 games in 2019. That 2-year span of a 20-win jump, when every other team in your division is getting better, that's impressive. That's a win right there. That's how you want to rebuild. I think rebuilding teams like that would kill to be 20 games better than they were 2 years ago.
Yeah, they didn't really add that much particularly. They're still waiting for their stud prospects to, take over and become stars. So I do see this team being at the top of the division in probably 5 years, but for now they're just going to have to battle it out and work on development. It's more about developing this year than obviously winning the division. So, like I said, there's no reason they can't surprise us and not finish 5th in this division. That's why I put them at 500 or slightly above, just because I don't know, they're just too good they're just so much better than every other 5th place team in baseball. It's just hard for me to say they'd be that far under 500.
Yeah. Well, it's only a few games, but you're right. You're right.
And I know they play a lot of games in the division, but obviously they're gonna play the NL Central teams once, so that's gonna be free wins. And I don't know, the NL West, obviously the top two teams are really good, but they're I think they'll beat up on the bad competition, and that's what'll get them to that 500 record. And obviously they're not gonna not win any games against teams like the Mets, so maybe they'll just get a nice little sweep in there of the Mets, and that'll put them over the mountaintop to 500.
It would happen.
Help the Mets
Yeah,
miss the playoffs by one
knowing
game.
the Mets, I mean, this will probably give Scuffy flashbacks, but it'll be like a 4-game series at the very end of the year, and it's like the Mets either win the division or they get that wild card spot. They got to play the Marlins, and it's the Marlins 4-game sweep.
Yeah, let's not talk about that.
That just seems like the most Mets way to finish the season.
Well, we already did that, so.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so I think we're done with the Marlins, and we can move on to Scuffy's New York Mets. And I'm just gonna if you can, I'll let you take their projected pitchers. Just tell us who they are for the Mets.
Want me to go with starters first?
Yeah, sure.
So starters, especially for right now, it's going to be, of course, DeGrom, best pitcher in baseball. I don't care what you say.
No, we're agreeing with you. We full on agree with you.
We all agree.
I would just say, best pitcher in baseball. I think Carrasco takes the second spot over Stroman at first. So I think it's going to be Carrasco, then Stroman, Walker, who we just pick up. I think that was a fantastic pickup. Not only that, for a couple years too. So now we have Carrasco, Walker, and DeGrom for multiple more years than just year, since Stroman is a free agent after this year. And then I still think Peterson is going to be our fifth starter. I know they got Joey. I can't say his last name, so I'm calling him Joey. That's why.
Lucchesi, yep.
Lucchesi. There you go. They will battle it out. I know they'll battle out in the spring, but I think David Pearson showed something last year, and it's well worth of giving him the shot this year to be the number 5 starter. I'm very curious how I always botch his name, Yamamoto, is going to do.
Jordan Yamamoto.
Yeah, he pitched today. I mean, of course, he didn't have the great 2020, but 2019 he had 3-4 solid starts. I was surprised the Marlins actually dropped him.
So was I. I was going to bring that up.
So I'm very curious how he's going to be. But those are going to be our top 5 until Noah gets back. Once Noah gets back, then the might go with a 6-man rotation just to ease Noah into it, so we don't use as many innings as you want to, especially since coming off Tommy John. So that'll be pretty much our starting rotation. But the key thing that we never really had is quality depth for the Mets. I think that was their key going into the offseason. Yes, we wanted one of the big 3, but the key thing was to get depth, and that's what pretty much going to be something I'm going to keep on bringing up while we talk about the Mets, is that we made a lot of moves, and we made a lot of depth moves to make sure that we're good just in case anyone goes down. So that'll be the starting rotation. For our bullpen, of course, we got the new addition of Trevor May. The other move that was before Trevor May was a little bit curious, especially getting major league deal, was Sam McWilliams. Sam McWilliams came from the Rays. They gave him a major league contract instead of minor league. He hasn't pitched in majors yet, but his stuff is supposed to. He pitched today. I didn't get to see it. He pitched tonight. It looked like it was a little shaky to begin with, but he closed it out. Didn't give any runs. But his stuff is supposed to be top-notch stuff. I know he throws hard. He has a nasty slider. He could be like an X factor. But besides that, we have the usuals. We have Dylan Patanzas. Of course, he didn't have the greatest year. We have Familia, our former closer, being here. Seth Lugo, depending on when he gets back from injury. Hopefully sooner than later. And then we got Aaron Loop for one for lefties. I think that's the only lefty. We did re-sign Jerry Blevins. If you guys don't remember Jerry Blevins.
I feel like Jerry
came back.
Yeah, he's been a Met for like longer than I've been alive.
Yeah, but he was it was funny because he was Nashville, then he was a Met, and he had good years as a Met. He was not a lefty specialist. He could get lefties out, he could get righties out. He pitched today. He got a jam as well, but And then of course Edwin Diaz, and he's still going to be our closer until otherwise. I really thought, despite the early conflicts in the beginning of 2020, I thought he pitched pretty damn well to end
Yeah.
the season. So I'm not too worried about Diaz. Yeah, he had a crappy 2019. It happens. And then after that, we do have a little bit more depth. I like Drew Smith. I think Drew Smith has good stuff. And then we also still have Miguel Castro, who we traded from the Orioles from last year for the bullpen. But those are the pitchers. We'll get to the lineup afterwards. So,
Did you mention Trevor May?
Yeah,
Yes, I
it was
did.
the first one.
Okay,
He said.
First thing I missed. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, I zoned out for a sec there. I just
No,
wanted
it's
to
all
double
good.
check.
But yeah, I like what we have to offer. I do think we do have the best bullpen in the NL East.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's deep.
Yeah, you could go a lot of different ways. If someone's not performing in their spot, you could rotate things. Like, I think if Diaz does struggle again and Lugo comes back, he's going to be our closer. Even though
That's what I was like. Lugo is underrated as hell as a reliever.
The only thing, he doesn't like pitching consecutive days. So that's the only thing that worries me for me saying that. Like, he'd rather not pitch consecutive days. He'd rather just pitch one and then pitch 2 innings, say 1 game, and then take a day off and then come back. So I'm not sure if he wants to be that closer. I'm very curious how Trevor's going to. I really am. I think he's finally unlocking his potential, and now he's back with Hefner. He has just swing and miss stuff. We saw that last year a lot. His whiff percentage was up. I think it was in the higher tier for relievers last year, and it's only going to get better.
I'm looking up his stats right now. But like, even a guy you mentioned, like Dellin Betances, like I'm biased, obviously, but like when Dellin Betances is right, he's the nastiest pitcher in baseball. He is just disgusting. So to have that guy as like your 5th or 6th bullpen piece that might come back and just like pitch like a closer, great place to be.
And he's pitching for a contract, so
exactly.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens.
Well, yeah, and Juris Familia used to be elite. What was that?
Well, he mentioned Trevor May's whiff percentage, 99th percentile, so top 1%.
Yeah,
whiff percentage.
It's crazy. Yep.
Yeah, he's crazy. Yeah, he's a solid bullpen. Are you worried about the fact that you don't have a solid lefty? I don't think it really matters, but
Joey. I think they're going to use Joey as a relief piece, spot starter, and then a relief piece. Similar to how they tried to do with Matz last year. It didn't work out with Matz.
That's Steven Matz.
Yeah, so
Steven Matz was so good when he came up. I was really high on Steven Matz when he came up.
I went to when he was on his dominant run, and when he was just consistently throwing strikes. But that mental aspect of his always takes him out of the games, especially the first inning. You'll know he was always known giving up. If he gives up a run in the first inning, that was it. He'll never come back from it.
Damn.
But he always had that stuff. I'm hoping the well, because he is just, even off field, he's just a fantastic dude. He does a lot of charity stuff. He does a lot of stuff with the firemen stuff. I'm rooting for him. I hope Change of Scenery does him well. And I hope he does good with Toronto. So I am a big fan of Matt's for multiple reasons. And yeah, if he could put it all together and just consistently just pound the strike zone, because when he pounds the strike zone inside to righties with that fastball of his, because he could throw, it's a live fastball. It's not just he throws a high velocity. It's a very live fastball. You just know that it's swing and miss stuff, and I'm hoping he can get that back.
Yeah, I mean, Toronto's going to be the place to do it because they need that kind of guy in there, whether it's in their pen or their rotation. I feel like they need him as a starter more than they need him as a reliever, but I think he's going to start in the bullpen. I'm not sure.
Steven Matt's baseball savant page might make you cry. Just so much blue, so many bad stats. Like,
I don't put too much weight into baseball savant.
I do hope he figures it out.
Yeah,
he's only 29. He's only 29.
Yeah, it's funny today. It was Phillies and Blue Jays facing each other. Who was on the mound? Zach Wheeler was on the Phillies. Steven Matz was on the Blue Jays. So
I love
it's like the what if scenario.
Yeah, that'd be
how
weird
do we
to
get
see.
here?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, so that makes sense. That makes a lot more sense because I was wondering what the hell the Mets were doing in that three-way trade with the Pirates and the Padres earlier this year, but it makes sense now to get Lucchesi to be that lefty in their bullpen. I don't know anything about David Peterson. So you're saying that he's a little better, you think?
Yeah,
Okay,
he was
yeah.
rookie and he looked solid. He didn't look afraid of just. He just didn't look like a rookie pitcher. He looked like he was confident in his stuff. I think his big outing game was against the Yankees actually. When we had the doubleheader, it was like when we had.
I feel like I remember that.
It was like it was weird because the Mets were home for the second game, and I think that's the Amin Rizzo.
Oh, you're right. You're right.
It was one of those days, but he's shown capability of holding his own. I thought. I think he had like a 4-point something ERA in the season. But
double check real quick.
Yeah, it makes
sense. Well, he's a lefty as well,
guy.
so like
he's a lefty as well. Yeah,
he could theoretically like we're talking about Lucchesi being that bullpen piece, but I mean David Peterson could do that as well.
Yeah, you could do it as well. He pretty much makes a match.
He had a 3.44 ERA last year.
Okay, so even better.
Yeah, translates to a 123 ERA plus.
That's pretty good. I really like that.
Yeah, to be your 5-starter, what the hell? What do you have to lose? If he sucks, he's a number 5 starter.
Yeah, exactly.
And I mean,
he seems pretty solid.
It's until June because once Noah comes back, I'm not sure if they're going to do the 5-man or 6-man, and then you have Noah, and I think Noah's going to just with a contract year. If we don't extend him by spring training, he's going to be on a mission, man. I expect 2016 vibes from him when he was on top of his game, because when he was on top of his game, before DeGrom became really like DeGrom-like, Syndergaard was electric. It was. Yeah, I thought no one was touching him each day in out when he was pitching in 2016. I remember watching him and Scherzer going battle back and forth. I went to the game, and it was just such a treat because they both had 10K strikeouts. I'm a sucker for pitching gems. When watching, I just love good pitching, and go figure. I'm a Met fan, so I should like good pitching. Because that's the one thing they do right is generate good pitching. But yeah, I want to see I just want to see what he has in store once he gets back from Tommy John.
Once he's back, this rotation is scary good. I mean, it's already good. It's good enough to make the playoffs right now, but like DeGrom and Syndergaard, that reminds me of a lot of the 2019 Nationals with Scherzer and Strasburg, and then Carrasco or Stroman could come in and be the Patrick Corbin type of guy to cement them. This seems like people, especially like you've seen those Mets fans who are, I don't know if it's a meme at this point or if they're being serious, that are disappointed in this offseason, but my God, you guys can make some serious noise. Yeah, I hope they're memes.
I mean, you get that from any fan base, but oh man, I couldn't stand that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it didn't make sense at all because you've got so many good pieces now.
We made over 9-10 moves. Like I said, it's all depth. I mean, some of it's depth, but we did get new. We did trade for top 3, arguably the best shortstop in the game, which we'll get to. Same with, and then we signed McCann. We'll get to it. We'll get to it once we get to the lineup.
Yeah. So I'm super high on that rotation. Like I said, definitely a team that making the playoffs, honestly, they can make some noise. They're, it's dumb to call them a sneaky team because they shouldn't be sneaky looking at this thing, but all anybody thinks about when you think of the playoffs in the National League is the Dodgers and the Padres right now. But yeah, the Mets, I might even, they're up there with the Padres. On a good day, I definitely take DeGrom and Syndergaard over anybody in that Padres rotation. So
I mean, we're talking best pitcher in baseball.
Yeah, best pitcher in baseball, 100%. And then Noah Syndergaard has the stuff to be up in that conversation too. A top 5 pitcher, honestly, when he has his stuff working. Hopefully
Syndergaard's one of those pitchers that you like. It's good for the sport when Syndergaard is on top of his game.
Yeah.
I mean, he's Thor. Like he's massive. He got electric stuff. He's one of those guys where you, even as a Yankee fan, like I want Thor to be good, except against the Yankees, just because it's good for the game and it's so much fun to watch.
He's
Yeah,
also
I
my
like watching
father.
him pitch.
He's my father in MLB The Show. Live Series Syndergaard, when I first got the game, bro, it was... I might as well just put the controller down. It was awful. Not
Prime
excited to face
Syndergaard's
that
really
next
good
year.
too.
I suck with Prime Syndergaard, man. It was really
I love it.
unfortunate.
I
just
love
can't
it.
hit him.
Because you only say 86 control for the prime. I kind of
Yeah.
hope a
Yeah.
little bit more, but I understand it because he throws up to 100.
Oh yeah, no, he's just got lights out stuff. I fucking love Noah Syndergaard, man. Yeah, I'm
me
very
too.
high on these Mets, man. Yeah,
So
I know it's hard to be
Scuffy,
optimistic for your own team sometimes because you don't want to scare yourself.
No.
Yeah, that's true. You want to go over the lineup for us?
Yeah, sure. So for our catchers, we'll have McCann, Nito. I'll just go over I guess we'll just go over the lineup, what I expect to be. We'll start from top. I think Nimmo's going to be, of course, our center fielder. I'm not sure how much they're going to put platoon between Nimmo, Pilar, and Amara. Amara actually had a nice little home run today in spring training for his debut as a Met. I thought that was pretty sweet. Then we'll have, I'm thinking it's going to be Lindor in the second spot at short. Fantastic addition. Let's just hope we get him signed. I think it'd be Conforto, our right fielder, and then it'll be Alonso for first. Mcneil, probably Dominic Smith in the sixth spot in left field, and then probably Mcneil. The thing is, I'm trying to put this lineup together. I know I'm not going through it fully right now, but I'm trying to put this lineup together. I just don't know how I will put it together. I'll leave it up to you guys to see what you think you would do. But then you have Mcneil at second base since Cano did Cano stuff. And then we have J.D. Davis at third, and then the new addition of James McCann at catcher. So, I mean, you could
It's
mix and
tough.
match this lineup,
Yeah,
and there's no wrong to it, I think.
Yeah.
because I like Lindor in the leadoff spot, but I
He's
also
not gonna
think
be leadoff.
Nimmo.
Nimmo's gonna,
Yeah, I was gonna
Nimmo
say.
you can't. His eye is just too ridiculous.
Lindor has to
Yeah.
hit like third or fourth, second, third or fourth. I
Yeah,
think.
second, third, fourth. I don't think he'll hit fourth, but I could see him doing second, third, without doubt.
Yeah.
Also, Jeff McNeil is a critically underrated player in general. He's probably the second best second baseman in baseball if you consider him. I know his MLB The Show card that came out later had him as a left fielder, but I assume he's starting second now that Dom Smith's going to move over to left. But yeah, criminally underrated guy. But I don't know. The lineup that I'm looking at that's projected would be Nimmo, McNeil, Lindor, as Conforto in the 4 hole, which is weird for me. I'd probably put Pete Alonso in the 4, who hopefully will be back to his 50 home run self next year. Then probably Conforto 5th, I guess, and then Dom Smith, J.D. Davis, James McCann. But James McCann being in the 8 holes doesn't seem right to me. J.D. Davis being in the 7 hole doesn't seem right to me. There's too many good players here. You're gonna have to have one of these guys batting 8th.
Which is not a bad thing.
Yeah,
And
so,
then-
are there any guys like on the bench that you could argue are started? Like how's their bench look? I mean, we talked about Pilar and Almora.
I think it's
Bench
just
is pretty good.
for platoon type of thing. If they decide to put Nimmo off against a lefty one day and then put Amaro or Pilar. Definitely Amaro and Pilar are going to be defensive replacements. We have Jose Martinez, who we picked up
Oh
on
yeah.
the minor league contact. He might just be a pitch hitter. He can play first. He can play right field. We did trade for Kelly Lee. I don't think he's going to be with the club right away.
Oh right, yep.
From the Royals. And then we picked up Jonathan VR. And he could play pretty much anywhere. If you think of it.
Yeah, that's
He
true.
can play anywhere in the infield. He can play center field. And then Glierme. I'm a big on Glierme. I really
Yeah.
am. When he gets playing time, he produces. And he could play short. He could play third, second, just fine. And then we have Thomas Nito, who I think is a solid backup. Not a starter, but solid.
Those are the kind of guys
I
you
like
need,
their
like
bench a lot.
Guillermo. Those guys that can come off the bench and produce are the kind of guys that really make a difference for the best teams in baseball. That people, the unsung heroes kind of guys.
Yeah.
But
They got a lot of depth on that bench for sure. Like
I
as
do like
defensive
that bench.
replacements, as Scuffy said, and pinch hitters and all that stuff. Platoon.
Yeah, and Kevin Pillar hits lefties really well, like you said. So if they want to give Nimmo that day off, I feel like he's a good bat option. And obviously Kevin Pillar used to be probably the best defensive. Well, him and that dude from the Rays, Kevin Kiermaier, were the two best defensive
JBJ.
outfielders in baseball for a while.
JBJ's
so.
good too.
Yeah, but I meant before JBJ was a thing. Kevin Pillar and
Oh, okay.
yeah, those were the two guys. But yeah, so I really, God, the Mets are a very well put together team, man. This is an exciting team to watch. I don't know. Maybe I gotta.
Yeah.
Luis Guillorme, you mentioned him. Last year, played 29 games, so basically half the season. A 141 OPS plus. Those are new to OPS plus. That's 41% better than league average. So not a bad piece. I feel like there's a lot of like meme pages about him that'll like start Luis Guillorme instead of JD Davis and like all this stuff. I feel like Mets fans love this guy.
Oh yeah, we love Guillermo. Especially he came through in 2019 when we were going in like our August run, and he came through like he was a meme then because we're facing the Nationals, I believe, and we're down by 1, I believe, and this is when we're trying to make a playoff push, and he comes up and everyone's like, oh, the game's over, and then he comes through, and I believe it was a tying home run. Everyone goes nuts, and that's when it starts. However, since that game, he has been putting up numbers ever since he's played. He just needs the reps. And we finally realized that if he gets enough playing time, he'll come through and he'll be a solid piece. But it's funny how it started because at first we were like, oh, okay, this game's over. Being the Met fan we are. And then he comes through, and then he produces afterwards, and he continues to produce. And he is actually an avid MLB show player, too.
There we go.
Yeah, I knew that.
I know him and Tyler, Daddy Dimmu, played against each other one time. Randomly, they matched up and he was in the chat, and I thought that was pretty cool. And he has his own 99 card as well.
Yeah, it's dope.
Oh yeah.
No, I love seeing that. No, I had a buddy who matched up with Matt Beatty too. I'm really jealous of the 99 Shohei that Shohei has for some reason, even though he doesn't play MLB The Show. But oh my God, just thinking of that gives some goosebumps. Yeah. So I don't know. We want to give our projections for the Mets?
I'm struggling with this number because
I say we put it at the same. Whatever you put 94 for the Braves.
Yeah, should we do the same?
I'm cool with that.
Yeah, I'm cool.
All right. Scuffy, take it away.
90. That's where I have him. I have them second place, 90. Even 90. That's where I see them. I hope they could overexceed that, of course. I know the projections always. It's funny because whenever we're like projected to be good, it's just nothing good happens from it. So this is just being me a Met fan.
Yeah.
You can obviously tell I'm a Met fan. But yeah, I think this team is enough to get 90 wins. Even probably get above that, but I'm just going to put them at flat 90 and be at second place right behind the Braves.
So is that wild card one or wild card two? Okay.
Wild card 2. Yeah.
Oh yeah, because Padres Mets.
Padres,
Right,
yeah,
yeah.
Padres won, but I think we could take the Padres because if DeGrom's in that wild card game, I'm feeling great.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. He would just shove and he would carry
Let me
it.
ask you a question. Myself and Googs were trying to look this up before. Is the playoff format the same as 2019, or is it? I
For
couldn't find
now.
anything on it.
So
Because they
right
haven't
now,
announced
It's 20.
anything.
It's 2019. Yeah.
It's 2019. Okay.
So that's
There's
why you
still
can't find
a
anything
very
on it.
real possibility where they say like the league just says "fuck you, Players Association" and does the expanded playoffs. But as of right now, it's 2 wild card spots,
Okay,
just
good.
like normal.
All right, perfect. Smart.
But we'll see if that lasts.
I like the 2 wild card spots. I don't like.
Oh my God,
I don't like the expanded playoffs at all.
I do not either.
Nah.
I like the 2 wild card.
I would have liked it if
You
my
know,
Angels made the playoffs, but now that we
Yeah.
didn't make the playoffs, even with 14 or whatever it was playoff teams. Yeah.
The wild
Who
card
needs
games
it?
are just fun.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah.
I was there in 2016, unfortunately, on the losing side, when the Mets played the Giants. But still, it's intense. I like the Game 7 atmosphere. We're just trying to get into the division series. I hope they don't change it,
Yeah.
even though I think they will. I think it's gonna be a bargain piece for next
It's
year.
exciting, and it gets you going. The winning team usually has a lot of momentum.
Exactly.
Nick knows what I'm talking about. You fucking asshole. 2014. Ring a
The
bell.
2014 asshole, or
The-
the 20
The best team in baseball, Anaheim Angels, most
the
wins in all of
2014
baseball.
Royals, yeah.
With Mike
I
Trout.
think about my 2017 Yankees. They won the wild card game. They were one game away from the World Series.
Yeah,
then
the wild card team. That
the
wild card
cheaters.
game is honestly a blessing in disguise. It lights a fire under your ass and gets you ready to play in elimination games. So even if you win the wild card game, and especially if it's a close game like the Royals won in 2014, that's like they had a huge comeback at the end of that game. And then you're
Yeah.
like, so no matter how down you are, well, first of all, you have that momentum. But even if you go down by 5 runs, you're still ready to go battle back. So that
Exactly,
honestly,
yeah.
wild
Set
card
the
team
scene.
is a blessing in disguise.
No, I agree. But like set this scene. We're assuming that Padres are number 1 seed, Mets are number 2 seed, so they're playing in San Diego, packed stadium because we're assuming COVID's not there anymore. We hope, pray. It's Tatis Jr. against Jacob deGrom at a packed stadium for the wild card game. Just think about that.
I
One, the
would love that.
marketability. 2, you have possibly the best shortstop in the game versus the best pitcher in the game. I mean, just the
What shortstop are we talking about?
What?
What shortstop are we talking about?
Didn't I say Tatis?
Yeah, you
I
said
don't know which
Tatis,
one.
I think.
I thought you said best shortstop in the game versus best pitcher. I didn't hear which one.
I said possibly best shortstop in the game.
Gotcha. I mean, there's the point I was trying to make is there's 2 in the conversation in that game. That's
That is
the point
true.
I'm making here.
That is true.
Yeah.
That would
But
kinda-
like, I mean, think about Padres fans starved for the playoffs, haven't made playoffs in a long time. Mets fans starved for success because they're Mets fans. They were in the World Series a few years ago, but like, I mean, that would just be so much fun, and I hope that MLB doesn't ruin it by expanded playoffs.
yeah, I'm ready for it.
Nolan, did you
I
give
didn't
your
see it.
over under?
I guess I'll say over. Just looking at this lineup and the things I think they could do, I just think they're now looking at this team. I think they have a comparable. I think they have a better rotation than the Braves when Syndergaard's healthy, because they basically have what I think the Braves will be in like 2 years, where their pitchers are just ready to go and they're like absolute studs and they have experience and yeah, they're one of the best players in baseball. So I like their rotation more, I like their bullpen more, and I like the depth that they have more, while I don't necessarily like the starting lineup quite as much. Not that they have a bad starting lineup, it's just they don't have Freddie Freeman, they don't have Ronald Acuna Jr. You could argue that Francisco Lindor is kind of on that level, but I definitely give the edge to Acuna there. So I will take the Mets over the Braves in that aspect, so I'll give them like 95 wins. So over 94, not by much though.
Nick, you got.
I would probably put them around 90, just like Scuffy. I think, yeah, they're definitely gonna take the second wild card spot. I really like their rotation in the bullpen. I think it's just gonna be a battle between the Braves and the Mets for first place. So I'll take the 90. I think that would be as under, wouldn't it?
Yeah. I would agree. I'm going to take the under as well, 89, 90. Like we've talked about, I mean, they're just going to beat the crap out of each other all year. So, and I think that's honestly like 89 wins, 90 wins doesn't sound like a really successful season. Like when you think about super successful seasons, you're like 100 win season or whatever, win the division. But like in that division, 90 wins, super impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be an interesting division because, like, we this is what we're saying now, but at the end of the year, some shit will happen. We don't know. One team will underperform, one team will overperform. It'll definitely be all over the place, nowhere near what we're projecting. But that's baseball.
Marlins will be at the top, Braves will be at the bottom, and it'll be insanity.
There is definitely a universe where that happens.
Exactly.
Somewhere out there.
Yeah. They don't have a 0% chance like the Orioles. Poor Orioles. Did you saw that projection, Scuffy?
Yes, I did. With the
Awful.
0%.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Poor
that was pretty
Orioles.
bad.
There's no
We're
chance.
talking Colorado Rockies have 0.1%, and you couldn't give 0.1% for the Orioles. Like,
Yeah,
I
just
would
throw 'em
take
a
the Rockies
bone.
over the Orioles.
No.
I don't know. It's close. But all right, enough about the Rockies. I feel like we talk about the Rockies a lot.
We do.
I think
It's
if we're
fun to
done
bring
with
up.
Scuffy's Mets, we're going to talk about not Scuffy's Phillies. They're next up in the alphabet.
What a
now that I
transition.
remember how the alphabet goes. Phillies are an interesting team. We absolutely love to shit on the Phillies on this podcast. We are definitely not a Phillies podcast. Basically, like if
funny.
we had merch, our number one T-shirt would just say Phillies are a fourth place team. We'd love to talk about that. So Nick, if you want to give us their starting rotation projected.
Okay. The starting rotation would be
I have it here if you want.
I don't
think we
know.
might have
Did we
lost
lose
him.
him?
Yeah, I'll say it here. We got Aaron Nola is their projected number 1. Zach Wheeler would be their number 2. Zach Eflin, number 3. Vince Velasquez, 4. And then Matt Moore is their current number 5. I don't really see what their other options might be here. And we'll just go over our whole pitching staff just in the sake of time. Hector Neris in their bullpen. Archie Bradley is a new addition. Jose Alvarado is a new addition. And he's also very young. He's only 25. Brandon Kinsler is a new addition. He's a non-roster invitee, though, so he's still minor league contract. Tony Watson's a minor league contract. Connor Brogdon, Jojo Romero, David Hale, and Chase Anderson. So, yeah, I honestly thought this bullpen was a little bit better than that.
the only two good pieces that I find in this bullpen are actually 3. Kinsler is okay. I would say Archie Bradley and Alvarado would be the back end of that bullpen.
I wouldn't even necessarily. I don't know. Alvarado has stuff to prove, I feel like, still. I know he throws hard, and it's hard to not love him after playing MLB The Show, but
Yeah.
I don't know. Kind of.
I like Archie better, though.
Yeah, he's a Ferrari without a steering wheel, I feel like, at the moment. So we'll give him some time to develop. He's only 25. I thought you threw that in there just to figure out. Archie Bradley's also only 28. I thought he was a little bit older than that.
Is he really? I
Yeah,
thought
he's
he
28.
was like in the 30s.
Yeah,
I
right?
thought mid-30s as well.
Oh man, I thought he was like on his tail end of the career.
Nah,
'Cause it
he's
feels like
in his
ages ago when
prime.
he hit that triple, right, in the playoffs.
Yep. No, he must. Yeah.
That was like 3
was
years ago.
that
I
was
think.
legendary, bro. Yeah, I think it was.
Oh man, that was
20
great.
Yeah. No, I remember watching that live. It's always those moments I feel like I catch live every once in a while. If I miss a playoff game, nothing happens. That was a great one. I do like his addition to this bullpen, though. Hector Neris has been good in the past, but Jose Alvarado,
Yeah.
I think it's nice to have him in this bullpen now, but the fact that the Rays gave up on him kind of scares me too. Like the Rays are the type of team that would take a guy like Jose Alvarado and turn him into an elite closer or just relief pitcher in general. But the fact that they traded him when he was 25 is kind of a red flag to me. But I don't know.
Yeah.
Obviously, the Rays aren't perfect. They can make mistakes. They don't usually, though.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that for sure. Just because they're so good at developing talent, specifically pitchers, and in the bullpen, and yeah, I agree with that for sure. But maybe they just didn't need them because they have the bullpen pieces now. Because they have Peter Fairbanks, Ryan Thompson, Nick Anderson, and Diego Castillo. Maybe they just felt like they didn't need them.
Yeah, it's always a possibility, but I don't know. It's something about being a young, talented reliever who hasn't quite put it all together yet. I feel like Philadelphia is not the best position to be in. Something about that doesn't sit right.
I would have liked them on the Royals. That would have been pretty sweet. Because we need lefties, for sure.
Yeah, I also forgot you guys got Mike Minor this offseason. I keep forgetting that.
Yeah, I always forget about that too. Just thinking about Brad Keller and Brady Singer at the top, I always forget Mike Minor.
Yeah, I don't know if
You
you're
guys
here,
brought back a
Mick.
lot of people.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were talking. Archie Bradley's 28 years old. We all thought he was like 35, but he's 28. Jose Alvarado, young, talented. Rays gave up on him. Phillies suck at developing pitching, so I guess you
Yeah,
could
I
argue.
agree. I mean,
you could argue Aaron Nola, but he was also
You
a
can't,
first-round draft pick.
like, obviously they're going to be better than last year because there's like no fathomable way that they're the worst bullpen in history again.
Yeah.
But I'm not exactly super high on the bullpen because when you say the words Phillies bullpen, I mean, someone in Philadelphia just died when I said those words together. Like that's how bad it is. Really?
Yeah.
yeah.
There's no way they're going to be worse than last year unless they just carried out that worseness for a whole season. But
Yeah.
I like that phrasing. Carried out the
Worstness. Carry out the worstness.
And didn't they have the second highest ERA in like MLB history? With
Yeah.
their bullpen?
I think it was the highest, wasn't it?
I'm pretty sure it was the highest.
No, they're 19 something 23 or team.
Okay.
The Phillies, they were 1 and 2. I think they're 19. It was like early. It was
Yeah.
number 1, and then they were number 2 off like a 7.39 ERA or something like that.
That's wild.
Yeah, that's very bad.
Yeah, because I remember specifically, like, especially following Shelfie on Twitter, I'd just be scrolling through and I'd be like, holy shit, they did it again. Oh my god, they did it. Did they really? And I'm like, I mean, it'd be the same thing.
Like, they acquired a couple guys. Like, I know, like, David Hale was a Yankees guy. Brandon Workman was decent for the Red Sox. Comes over and just pitches like he's never even seen big leaguers before. Like, that just, they tried a little bit. It just sucks that everyone was bad.
Yeah, and they were still 1 game away from making the playoffs. Was it a bullshit playoffs? Yeah, but they were still 1 game away. So were the Giants, but I don't know if that's the kind of team you want to be comparing yourselves to when you have Bryce Harper on your squad, but yeah, it's tough. I really feel bad for Bryce Harper on the squad. But I guess we'll get to that in a minute. I do like the rotation a lot, though, at least the top end of it. We talk about how the top 3 is what really matters, and I love their top 2 in Aaron Nola and Zach Wheeler. Obviously, Scuffy, you have a little bit of experience with Zach Wheeler.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he's always started late. Like, well, I mean, he's pretty much always a second half type of pitcher. He always, I think, past 2 years before he went to the Phillies, he was a second half pitcher, and he had his woes of injuries here and there. But I always saw he had solid stuff, and he is a 2 without doubt. Seeing Nola's one of those pitchers I got to see each time the Mets face him or anytime I see him being start because I love watching him pitch. I think it's kind of mutual between Phillies fans and Mets fans, where Mets fans like seeing Nola pitch, where they like to see DeGrom, of course. And I really like the 1-2 punch right there for the Phillies.
I'm super high on Aaron Nola. I mean, I've seen him pitch live as well, like in person, and it's really. This was back in even I think it was 2017 when I saw him pitch, so he hadn't really fully developed yet. But I mean, you can see the stuff is there. I'm very high on their 1-2, but it does fall off a bit, which is unfortunate for them.
Yeah.
After their 1-2, it gets a little rough.
Yeah.
We have like a Vince Velasquez.
To do.
Oh yeah, you're right about Spencer Howard.
Yeah.
Yeah. Matt Moore being your projected number 5 is not a good situation to be in.
He's projected, but like if yeah, right.
Yeah, right.
Matt Moore. I think he pitched in. I think he pitched in Korea last year or Japan.
Yep.
I can't remember.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who was he with last? Was it the Rays? No, he started with the Rays.
He started
And
with
then
the
he went-
Rays.
It might have been the Tigers.
I think it was the Tigers. Yeah.
And he was with the Giants
Oh,
for a few
yeah.
seasons, I think.
Okay.
But another guy, he's just been around the block. Came up as this big prospect for the Rays.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
And he had 1 good season in 2013, so that's something.
But like projected their 5th starter, but he might not actually. He'll definitely get some starts for them, like we always say with this year. You need pitching. But in a perfect world for the Phillies, and this is like absolutely perfect, you have Nola, Wheeler, Eflin, Velasquez, Howard. Not Matt Moore. I mean, unless Matt Moore miraculously goes back 10 years, this isn't a good pitcher again. We'll see. But
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll have to see. The top of the rotation will definitely win them some ball games, but at the end of the day, they made some improvements. I like what they did. I assume Archie Bradley's going to be their closer day one. But if Jose Alvarado can pitch solid enough and Hector Neris is, decent, they at least have three noteworthy guys to have there. Sir Anthony Dominguez is out. Tommy John surgery, and he got it last year, so he's probably not going to pitch this year at all. Yeah. So, I mean, they have three guys that are notable, and then the rest of their lineup's just kind of 50 feet of crap, to quote Moneyball. Yeah, so I don't think they made enough improvements to make themselves a playoff team, and obviously they were crying poor at the beginning of the offseason too, so I don't think they're going to make any big splashes. But there's always free agents, and there's still free agent relievers available to sign if they want to take a... Shane Green's available. I hate the guy, and I would be upset if any team signed him, but Roberto Osuna is one of the elite relievers in all of baseball. If a team really, really, really wants to sell their soul to the devil to get him, they can get Roberto Osuna. I think the Astros are the only team that would employ that man, but...
Yeah, I hope he goes to the Astros.
But fuck it, Mickey Callaway's still employed by the Angels, so I wouldn't put it past us.
That's true.
True. Yeah.
I won't use his nickname on here, but God damn it.
Yeah. But real quick, Phillies, please sign Shane Green. You'll get him for cheap, probably, and I predicted that they would sign him, and I really need at least one more Matt predictions to go right, because that video sucked. I thought predictions were so bad.
Colton Wong for one.
Yeah, exactly. James Paxton was another one.
Yeah.
So do you want to move on to their lineup? I mean, we kind of transitioned from they cried poor to they re-signed the best catcher in baseball to a 5-year contract. JT Realmuto is obviously going to be their catcher. First base, Rhys Hoskins. I mean, Rhys Hoskins when he's right, I feel like he's a streaky player. When he's right, he's one of the best hitters in baseball. When he's not right, it can be bad, but still a good player. Second base is either Scott Kingery or Gene Segura. Not sure who's going to get most of the playing time there. Shortstop, they re-signed Didi Gregorius to a 1-year contract. And then over at third, stud prospect Alec Boehm. Very excited to see what he's going to do in a full season. He was really good last year. Left field is going to be Andrew McCutchen. Center field, is that
Kingery?
Is that Scott Kingery? Okay.
Kingery or Roman Quinn, I think.
Right. And then, of course, the one and only Bryce Harper in right field. But I will note, Odubel Herrera, don't know, I'm sure Scuffy remembers him. He played his first game this year in 2 years with the Phillies in spring training. He was a pretty good center fielder, but he got arrested for domestic violence a couple seasons ago, got suspended last year. But he's back with the team. He's got some major league playing time previous, so he's the guy that they have as well.
It's interesting.
I think you also forgot Brad Miller.
Yeah, Brad Miller.
Ooh.
I like Brad Miller.
Good bench piece. He's very versatile. He can play anywhere. He's got pop against righties. Well, we all know this from MLB The Show. He's a BR god. He's a good bench piece.
Yeah, I like Brad Miller quite a bit. I think that's a good pickup for depth. I do like their lineup a lot, but it has severely underperformed. I mean, not severely underperformed, but their whole team as a whole is severely underperformed because this lineup, while it's good, it's not as good as some of the lineups in baseball that could maybe make up for bad pitching. Obviously, Bryce Harper has potential to be one of the most elite bats in the game, but he hasn't really had a season like that 2015. That was kind of a shot in the pan there. Andrew McCutchen could be elite, but he's had some injury problems lately. Alec Boehm could break out into a huge stud this year. JT Realmuto is obviously the best catcher in baseball. Rhys Hoskins provides a lot of power. Didi Gregorius only hits to right field, but he does it well. And even Gene Segura and Scott Kingery have had some flashes. Well, Gene Segura more flashes, obviously, but Scott Kingery's more of a younger prospect. I like the lineup, but like I said, maybe if they had like the Dodgers lineup with this pitching staff, I could see them in the playoffs. But with this lineup and that pitching staff, I don't think it's enough.
Scuffy, who not named Bryce Harper scares you the most on the Phillies in the lineup?
I want to see what Bohm does, man. This lineup just screams 2020 to me.
Yeah.
It's pretty much the same thing. There's nothing really new to it. Like you said, they underperformed. I'm sure they'll play a little bit better, but Bohm is definitely. I mean, Bryce Harper always kills the Mets, but I really want to see how Bohm develops as we get full season under the belt. So, I mean, he had a fantastic rookie campaign, I thought. So, yeah, I'm going to see what he does. Rhys Hawkins always kills the Mets too, but like you said, he is. You kind of hit it on the head there with being a streaky player. He's definitely a streaky player. But,
yeah, he's just one of those guys.
Yep. I mean, Bryce Harper's always going to scare me, no matter what, because he's Bryce Harper.
Yeah.
It's crazy how you've been saying that he's overrated to the point where he's now underrated. Because it's just nuts, and it's true. He really is. He's a much better player than people give him credit for, and I think that's the definition of being underrated. So now he has JT back, so it should be
Bryce Harper's one of those guys where he has like an above average season, have like a 110, 115 OPS plus. And we're like, oh, what a terrible year for Bryce Harper.
God, he sucks. He's washed up. Why did they give him $300 million? He's only putting up a 130 OPS plus.
Exactly. It's like, you don't know what you're talking about, is what you just told me.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, he's no Barry Bonds. Honestly. Nah, he was so hyped up as a prospect and everything. I feel like he's definitely not a bad player. There's nobody can say that for sure, but people treat him like he's Mike Trout when he's not. But he has a lot of potential. He just I don't know. I'd like to see him have another MVP season over there in Philly. I feel like, I don't know why, he just seemed like he had more of a fire or something going for him in Washington. I don't know how to describe it, but he was like electric.
I mean, he was so young. Like, having that hype, being that young, like, it makes sense that he did some of the stuff that he did. Now he's older, more mature. He's got the money. And I just looked it up. His worst OPS plus in his career, 111. Like, 11% better at his absolute worst. Just makes no sense. His best year, 198. Obviously, that was his MVP season. But even last year, 157 OPS plus in 58 games.
Yeah, and he's just under the radar now. Nobody talks about him because nobody talks about the Phillies. I don't hear anything about him anymore, if I'm being honest, unless it's a Twitter battle about if he's overrated or underrated. I think it's fucking hilarious how it's so divided in the population on whether he's underrated or overrated.
Yep.
It really is.
Yeah.
I'm
ready to move on to the
Nationals.
Like, oh wait.
Well, I was gonna say over under like, what was that, Nolan?
Oh, I'm just saying we've been going for 103 minutes. I'm just letting you know.
Oh, holy shit! All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we'll move on to the Nationals real quick, but we'll do over under. Phillies team is hard. I mean, do we go 81? 83?
I'd say 81, 82, maybe.
All right, we'll go 81. We'll go 81 over under. Scuffy, you can go first.
82. I had 82 in my mind before you did the over under, so I'm going to stick to that. I think they're just over 500. I think it's. I really want to put them in the fifth spot, but they're going to be in the. I think they'll do a little bit better than they did last year, and I'm going with 82 over 500. Yeah, just barely.
Yeah, I'll give them a little bit more credit. I think their ceiling to me feels like 85, where I think of realistic projections like 83. So I'll probably 83 seems fair to me. over 500, but not a playoff team. Nick?
I would probably give them 82 wins as well, just because the division's so competitive, and obviously, like you said, Nolan, they're not a playoff team, but I think they are going to finish over 500, barely.
I'm not going to take the over or the under. I'm going to say they get 81. I don't know. That just seems like such a Philly season to me, where they can go in, they could be really good, but maybe they are really good for the first couple months, and then they just suck in September.
Yeah, it seems like
so
a Phillies
81
thing
you can't say it's a successful season because they didn't finish over 500. So that just seems like the Phillies' way right now for me. So I'm gonna go with 81.
Seems fair to me.
Yeah, that's fair.
And then I'm also gonna go with 81 because of this last team we're finally gonna talk about here, the Washington Nationals, 2019 champions. Some would say the last real champion we had in baseball. I would disagree with them, but people say that. Weird team. Obviously, they won the World Series in 2019. They sucked in 2020. Projected to be pretty good again in 2021. First thoughts about them? I mean, obviously, Scuffy, you guys play them a lot more than the rest of us do.
Yeah, I like the pickups to protect Soto. I think Soto is the best hitter in baseball. I think it's more definite for me to see that because I see him more often than not, and the dude is he would have won the MVP if he started the year off, not on
The
DL
COVID list.
because big was it like a negative?
Yeah.
It was a false
False
positive. Yep.
False positive.
Yeah.
So I think he would have won the MVP without a doubt. The dude's unbelievable. It's crazy how him and Bryce were on the same team for a year. I think he's better than Bryce, hitting wise.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And besides that, they picked up Schwarber. I think they wanted to see the DH be a thing, but that's not going to be a thing. Schwarber could hold his own in left field, though. But
He's gotten
besides that,
better.
Trey Turner scares the living crap out of me. He gets on base, he produces runs. If he's producing, they are a deadly team. Just
Yeah,
because how much he brings to the table, just on his base running, on everything. He's just so. He's one of those nagging players that you don't like to face against, and
Well, there's so
it
many
just
people
made me
his
think of it.
speed that don't have any other tools, like a Tim LeCastro or Billy Hamilton, some guys like that. But Trey Turner does it all. He hits for average. He hits for power every once in a while. He definitely gets on base all the time. He has great base running, and he has speed. So he's definitely not a one-dimensional guy. And with, speed, demon speed, with kind of like all five tools, he's definitely a scary guy in that lineup. And obviously, like you said, Juan Soto's the best hitter in baseball. So
Rabbit hole. I remember, real quick. Trey Turner was a Padres prospect. Got traded over to the Nationals. I don't know why I remember this so well, but the trade happened, and there was a player to be named later, but it wasn't really a player to be named later because that player was Trey Turner. But does anyone remember who the Padres gave up?
it was in June of 2015. That's what I'm seeing here on Fangraphs.
Don't know why I remember that. Who could they have traded for? Doesn't really matter, but I was just curious if we could find that.
I'm looking right now.
Was it a 3-team trade?
The
It might have
Padres,
been.
Rays, and the Nationals.
I think that's when Will Myers went to the Padres.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
Who did the Nationals give up? And they got Trey Turner in return.
I think it was Steven Souza Jr. That's what I'm seeing here.
Yeah,
You
Steven
think they won
Souza
that
Jr.
trade?
Bro, Steven Souza Jr. is a legend in Washington. Do you remember his no hitter clinching diving catch?
I
That shit was.
remember
That's another thing I saw live that I don't know how. I just happened to be watching that. Fucking the most clutch play I've ever seen in my life.
Who
But
threw that hitter?
Jordan Zimmerman.
Oh, Jordan Zimmerman. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then he got that bad contract with the Tigers.
Yeah.
No, I love this lineup now, and I think Josh Bell and Kyle Schwarber are such good additions to this team because they're both kind of like. I feel like they're both undervalued right now. Josh Bell had no protection whatsoever in Pittsburgh, so there was no. I don't know. I don't think anybody thrives in that situation. I don't think Mike Trout thrives in that situation because what the fuck's the point of pitching to the best player on the team when you have somebody whose name I don't know and you're batting after you? I can't name another Pirate. Because Colin Moran's kind of good.
Brian Hayes.
No, well, not Cabrian Hayes, but anyways, Josh Bell's a great addition for them. Kyle Schwarber is a great power bat to have in that lineup. He's kind of hopefully going to be what they thought Eric Thames would be for them. This has starting Castro as their starting second baseman. I assume it's Luis.
I'm pretty sure it's going to be Starlin Castro.
Is it really?
I think so.
Yeah.
I don't know. I really like that prospect. I think it's Luis Rodriguez.
No, Luis Garcia.
Garcia, that's what it
He
is.
basically has the same stance as Soto.
Yeah. I mean, he's great. Don't look at his Savant page. It sucks, but he hits to all fields. He has he's not a power guy, but at the end of the day, he does remind me a lot of Soto, just kind of like baby Soto. Like you ever play the Mario Super Sluggers? Juan Soto's Mario, and Luis Garcia's baby Mario. Not gonna hit a lot of home runs for you, but he's got some good speed, good contact. It'll be a good piece in that lineup. But I don't know. Starlin Castro is definitely an undervalued player.
But how old is Luis Garcia?
Like 21, 22.
He's 21.
Yeah,
Actually,
But he played last year. He played last year, and
yeah.
he was better than Carter Keyboom. So that's what I was saying. Like, I figured he'd be on the roster on opening day.
Yeah, right now, Luis Garcia is listed at 20.
But when he came up, he was 19, I think.
Right. He really is Juan Soto.
I hate that Jan Gomes is their starting catcher, though.
Yeah.
I don't know. And then their backup is Alex Avila, who's 34 years old, who I honestly don't dislike, but he's 34 years old and he's a catcher. I don't know how anybody who's 34 years old is catching a Major League Baseball game. My back hurts and I'm 21 and I'm a Twitch streamer, so yeah, I can't imagine this. And I don't necessarily like their bench, but, Ryan Zimmerman can still hit a baseball. Josh Harrison used to be very good, but he's also 33 and he used to be a speed guy, so his best days are behind him.
A speed guy too.
Yeah, he's only 26, so he's probably got some left in the tank. And then Gerardo Parra, baby shark himself. So
came out of retirement, didn't he?
Well, he was playing in Japan, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, he came from Japan. I think a lot of players went over there. Victor Robles.
We pretty much talked about everyone.
Yeah.
It's catchers, Jan Gomes, definitely the weakest part of this team. And then we got first base is
Josh Bell.
Jesus, thank you. Second base is either Castro or Garcia. I'd argue for Castro. Garcia's still so young. I think Castro's in his last year of the contract, so let Garcia develop, get some minor league at bats, regular playing time. Shortstop's obviously Scuffy's nemesis, apparently. Trey Turner. I almost said Trey Mancini. Trey Turner. Third base, we'll see if Carter Keyboom can finally figure it out. Be that guy that he's hyped up to be. Left field, I think, is going to be Kyle Schwarber. Center field is defensive god Victor Robles. Not so great offensively. And then, of course, our guy Juan Soto
Juan
Soto, the best hitter in baseball. So
we're Juan Soto pod.
Yeah.
So it's not bad. It's not a bad team, obviously. I don't know. I'm a little worried about this team. Not being as good as they could be.
Because obviously we joke around and we've done our speculation projections before, but I don't know if you saw the YouTube video I made on it. I kind of did a flip flop here because I'm not as high on the Nationals as I thought I was. I love the moves they made with Josh Bell and Kyle Schwarber, but at the end of the day, I like I said, I hate that Jan Gomes is their starting catcher. I don't think Carter Keyboom's ready to be a starting third baseman in the major leagues yet. I do think Luis Garcia is ready, however. Kind of like how Juan Soto was ready at like 5 years old. I think Luis Garcia could definitely be in there, but I don't think they have enough of a complete lineup to make up for what we'll talk about in their pitching in just a second. And I'm going to have some hot takes going into that, but are we ready to talk about their pitching? Because
Yeah, let's go into it.
it's a little worrisome. I don't know. First of all, we'll go with the rotation. Max Scherzer, Patrick Corbin, Steven Strasburg's the number 2. Patrick Corbin, John Lester, and Joe Ross. Their bullpen will be Brad Hand as their closer. Tanner Rainey is back there. Daniel Hudson, Will Harris, Jeremy Jeffries is a non-roster invitee to spring training. Wander Suero, Kyle Finnegan, and Austin Voth. Now that is very underwhelming compared to what I'm used to seeing with the Nationals. And Max Scherzer's 36. I'm not saying Max Scherzer's washed. I'm just saying he's 36. And I know Justin Verlander's good at 38 or whatever, but that's kind of scary. Max Scherzer's 36. Patrick Corbin's at the heart of his prime. Steven Strasburg's at the heart of his prime. John Lester's obviously 37. Joe Ross is 27, which I'm very surprised about. I thought Joe Ross was in his 30s.
I thought he was a lot younger.
Really? I thought Joe Ross
Yeah,
was...
I thought it was.
He's been
I thought
around
it was
for a while.
longer.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
Okay,
been around
I
for a
might be
while.
getting myself confused with Tyson Ross.
I think I'm getting confused with
Yes,
Tyson
you
Ross.
are. You are getting confused with
Yeah.
Tyson Ross.
Yeah. Okay.
I am so worried about their starting pitching. Strasburg obviously has a huge injury history. I mean, he's really good when he's right, but I mean, Scherzer's, like you said, old man Scherzer now. Not that his I think he had like a 3.5 ERA last year. Not that that's bad, but it's not Max Scherzer. It's not what the Nationals need if they're going to be a playoff team. I don't love Patrick Corbin. I'm kind of thankful the Yankees didn't sign him. Don't tell me that 2 years ago I really wanted them to sign him, but I'm glad they didn't. They ended up getting Garrett Cole the next year.
I mean, he won a World Series for him. He was a very instrumental part of winning a World Series for them.
Patrick Corbin?
Yes, very much so.
Oh, no, I know. I'm just saying I'm not super high on him, but he is good.
Yeah.
Yeah. He did
And
really
then
well.
John, we'll see if John Lester can even pick up a baseball at the end of this season. Man has thrown so many innings. And then
I
Joe
think he
Ross
will.
is not a. When Joe Ross is your 4 guy, it's not a great position to be in.
Yeah, I just don't know. If Strasburg could have a full healthy season, I still like them to possibly be in 3rd place, and I am pretty confident Patrick Corbin's going to bounce back this year. I don't know, man. Scherzer was hurt last year, and that scares me. A 36-year-old pitcher getting hurt is a big deal for somebody who pitches with the kind of intensity that Max Scherzer does. He's a very very energetic. I don't know if that's what I would call his motion and everything. So will Max Scherzer still be one of the best pitchers in baseball next year? Probably. But like I said, man, I don't know. This staff is not the same staff it was in 2019, where I would have said like clear some of the best pitchers in baseball. I don't know. What's your take on it, Scuffy? Oh shit. We can't hear you right now, my guy.
Oh, can you hear me now?
There we go. Yeah.
Yeah, you're good.
I'm sorry. I was scrolling because I was looking at the roster, and I forgot my mute button is the scroll, the click.
You're good.
Anyway, I do agree. I do agree where it is not like it once was. And Scherzer's always been prone to giving up the home runs. I'm afraid that might be even worse as he goes in. That's one thing about Scherzer. Yes, he'll get his strikeouts. He'll lock it down, but he'll always give up maybe 2-3 crucial home runs that could go the other way. Strasburg, you nailed it pretty much into your prone. Corbin, I still like. Lester, I have no clue what to expect from Lester, to be honest with you. I was actually surprised he didn't retire.
Yeah, me too.
I think he's at like 296 wins or something, though.
Oh, is he really?
No, I think it's 197, 6 or 7.
Oh, is his 200? He's trying to get a milestone.
Yeah, he's definitely not close to 300 wins.
Oh, okay, I was about to say.
No,
Yeah.
not at all.
Okay. And their bullpen, I like the Brad Hand pickup. But besides that, nothing really. Will Harris is okay, and then they have Daniel Hudson, who, I don't know. Tanner Rainey is probably the only one that I really like from their bullpen, but I don't even see him on the projection right here. But anyway,
Yeah. Tanner Rainey's not here on the prediction that I'm looking at.
yeah. So, but besides that, the bullpen, the starting rotation doesn't scare me as it once was. And The Mets usually do good against. I know I'm just speaking of the Mets. Mets usually do good against Scherzer. It's Strasburg that gives us issues and Corbin, but we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I'm
I
interested.
mean, do we see a possibility of the Nationals being a playoff team? I don't think so.
I did until
No.
I looked at their pitching.
Well,
Even
like
with-
so much, a lot would have to go right for the Nationals. Like Josh Bell, Kyle Schwarber, those guys would have to bounce back. Same thing with Strasburg and Scherzer and Corbin. Like when you compare them to the Mets and the Braves, like they're definitely not winning the division. And then like we're pretty much guaranteeing that the Padres are the number one wild card team. So it's really just, I mean, yeah, there's not really a world where the Nationals can be a playoff team. A lot would have to go right, and a lot would have to go wrong with the two teams ahead of them, and the Braves and the Mets. Unless, of course, we get the expanded playoffs.
Yeah.
If you get the expanded playoffs, obviously they're going to be in.
They'll be the 5.5 playoff wild card, 5th seed or whatever.
Whatever it's called.
They should just make the National League East all playoff teams. Honestly, we were talking about the Marlins surprising some teams and not finishing last. I'm not surprised that they finish ahead of the Nationals. If something goes wrong with the Nationals, there's a very good possibility that
Especially injuries with their starting rotation. With Scherzer, like, especially since he's older now.
Even for their lineup, I think. I mean, they don't
Yeah.
really have that great of depth.
Yeah, other than Soto and Trey Turner, nothing really extremely scares me about it. Like, if Josh Bell and Kyle Schwarber come back, then yeah, for sure. But Soto and Turner are the only ones right now to really be worried about.
If you're listening to this on Spotify, Nolan has his dog now. On the,
it's my
on the
roommate's
screen.
dog, bro. She
She was
up
just
to me,
waving.
Yeah, she's waving.
So I get this is going to be our last over under. Is 81 a good number again for the Nationals? They're similar to the Phillies, in my opinion, where it could go right, but it could also go terribly wrong. Like if we think the Marlins could be the 5th place team and they're at 77 wins, then I don't know if the Nationals are much better than them at 81. So we might as well go with 81. And again, Scuffy, I'll let you take the lead on this one.
I'm going to go 80 just because I think they're going to be 4th place. I actually think Philly's going to be 3rd, and I'll project them with 80 right
80.
now. It's the depth scares me with this team. I think
I will say their 2019 team didn't have that much depth, in my opinion, either.
that's true.
So I don't know.
Yeah.
It's not the end of the world, the depth for me. For me, it's the bullpen that gets them.
Okay.
I'll just
If
kind
they
of.
would have re-signed, if they
Uh-huh.
would have re-signed Sean Doolittle, then it would have been a lot better.
Where do you go again? Reds?
The
Yeah,
Reds.
the
Yep.
Reds.
Yeah.
They're a sneaky team this year, by the way. I think they'll beat the Cubs, but that's a conversation for another day.
Cubs are a 4th place team.
I said it in my projections.
That was hilarious. That was hilarious. I love it.
Yeah, I said, do I really think that? But I just want to piss off Cubs fans. Now, like I said, kind of the same thing, like around 80 wins, around 500. I don't know.
So are you
even
taking officially? Are you taking the over or are you taking the under?
under?
Officially.
Which means I have the Mets. I have the Marlins. Damn, I gotta re up my my projections here. But now, realistically, that bullpen just doesn't do it for me, and a starting rotation can only get you so far. I speak from experience. I mean, I know Scuffy feels the same way after bullpen struggles recently. It's very tough to go far without a good bullpen unless you have the best lineup in baseball, which the Nationals do not have anything close to. Do they have the best hitter in baseball? Yes. Do they have the best lineup? No. So, yeah, I'll give it under 81, which sucks because I honestly had them as a 3rd place team with their pickups, but I don't know. Looking at the roster now.
Real quick, Travis Ferguson in the YouTube chat, shout out, says the Mets three-peat begins with Frankie right now. So you put that in the oven. It's out there now. It's officially
It's
out there.
out there.
We'll see if it happens. I agree. I'm going to go under as well. I'm not as high as I thought I was on the Nationals. I'm scared for what happens if like Soto got hurt or Scherzer's not as good, whatever might happen.
Okay, yeah. I would probably go under as well, just because the starting rotation's starting to get a lot older, especially with Scherzer and Lester. If they get injured, who else are they going to fall back on? There's Austin Voth who can pitch. There's I think his name is Eric Fetty. I think that's how you pronounce it.
I believe he went to the Pirates in the trade, the Josh Bell trade.
Well, I was just on MLB.com and he was still on the Nationals roster.
I believe that is wrong.
Are you sure?
Who did they get? No, maybe not. Maybe I'm thinking of someone else.
Yeah, he's still on the
I
roster.
am totally thinking of someone else. I apologize.
Okay.
I'm thinking of. I don't know why. I'm thinking of Will Crow.
I was gonna say, you know somebody who went to the Pirates? You've heard of somebody that went to the Pirates this offseason?
I don't know. I have a weird memory, man.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I give them the under 81. Or yeah, I'd say 80, 81, so the under. Just because of injuries and everything.
I don't know what she's doing. I'm a small dog guy.
All right, so now that we've all officially done our over-unders, that kind of wraps up each team. This is a long one. Appreciate it, Scuffy.
No problem.
So we'll just officially say like 1 through 5. Well, I think it can be assumed. We'll go, each of us say 1 through 5 what the division is going to look like at the end of the year, and then we'll say we did this with the NL Central. We'll say one hot take for this division. And I asked you earlier, Scuffy, a player that you think might flop in this division. So if you want to go that route, that can be your hot take at the end. I mean, I'll let Scuffy close this one out as our guest, so I'll go first. My 1 through 5, I've said this before, but I'm going to go Braves, Mets. I guess now I have to go Phillies because I said they were going to get 81 wins. Nationals get 79 or 80 wins. And then the Marlins do finish in last, but it's really close. But they're all so close within each other that I hate saying the Marlins are a last place team, but they are. And I'm gonna say, I just think Bryce Harper. I don't know if it's a hot take, but I think Bryce Harper just absolutely shuts up the haters this year. I'm not saying he has a 2015 season, but I think he comes close. That's my take.
Yeah, I got you there. I think I'm gonna flip-flop a little bit, actually a lot of it, I guess. After reviewing all the rosters in depth, I'm gonna change a little bit, going Mets in the first place spot, just because I feel like they're the most complete team in this division. Every other team I can really point out a weakness. The Mets I really can't. They have the depth there, they have the rotation there, they have the bullpen there, they have the starting lineup. Knock on wood, barring anything crazy or major happening, they have a very complete, solid team. So I'm going to give them the first place nod. The Braves I will put in second place just because they have an amazing lineup 1 through 8. But at the end of the day, like I said, we don't have much depth there, and it's a sport. Something's going to happen. Whether that's a blister on their thumb for a week or if it's, something a lot more major than that, something's going to happen. Their starting rotation I love. And I like their bullpen. I don't love it. So at the end of the day, second place team will be the Braves. The Phillies could be a third place team just because I don't know. I do really like their lineup. I very much enjoy their lineup. It has a lot of star power in it. Has a lot of guys who could break out and be, JT Realmuto is the best catcher in baseball. Bryce Harper could be probably not better than Aaron Judge, but the second best right fielder in all of baseball. Alec Boehm could be an absolute stud next year. Andrew McCutchen still has something left in the tank. Didi Gregorius is a stud, so on and so forth. I will go with the Marlins as a fourth place team just because after reviewing the Nationals, I really don't like them. I really don't. So the Marlins, I think, have a great lineup 1 through 9. They have the depth we're looking for. Bullpen's not great, but at the end of the day, I'm not as worried about their bullpen as I am about the Nationals for some reason. I know the Nationals have a closer, but I honestly think the Marlins lineup is better 1 through 8 than the Nationals is. That's why I'll put the Nationals as a fifth place team, even though the Nationals should have better starting pitching, assuming everyone stays healthy, which is a very risky thing to assume with the Nationals. So it's my little synopsis there. Olivia agrees.
Nick, give us your 1 through 5. Oh wait, no. Did you give us a hot take?
Oh, did I give you a hot take? Ah, shit, hot takes. That's a good question. I don't really know. Fuck. I can't really think of anything off the top of my head here. Ah, shit, dude. I mean, I think the Marlins not being a 5th place team is a pretty hot take.
That's true. That you can use that for sure.
If I think of something better or cheesier, I'll hit you up with it. What you got for us, Nick?
I don't know. It's tough for me. I would say the Braves in first place just because I like that lineup and I love that rotation. Even though the bullpen isn't as good, I just feel a lot better about the Braves than the Mets. I'd put the Mets in second, obviously. Third and fourth, it's kind of a flip flop between the Phillies and the Nationals, and the Marlins. Like I can't put those last 3 rankings together. So I guess I would go Phillies third, uh, Marlins fourth, and Nationals fifth. Just because the Nationals they have the stuff, but I feel like there's going to be some injuries this season with Scherzer and probably Strasburg again, and probably Lester because he's getting up there in age. And I really like that Marlins lineup 1 through 8. And yeah, they don't have a solidified closer yet, but they have some pieces that they can use, like that they can switch around in the bullpen. And yeah, that's what I'm gonna go with.
And your take?
I forgot we were doing that.
Yeah, I completely forgot about it too. I was trying to put my list together. I never really got the chance to think of a hot take. I don't know. Alec Boehm hits 30 home runs, hits over 300, has 100 plus RBIs, has a 130 OPS plus.
I like it.
That's pretty hot.
Yeah,
I can actually throw
real,
this one out
I'm
here.
high on Boehm. I'm high on Boehm.
Sixto Sanchez, top 15 Cy Young finish.
Oh, I forgot about Sixto.
Are you gonna say Sixto?
I
was gonna say Sixto,
fuck with Sixto, bro. Man's got stuff.
I was gonna say.
Well, you were gonna say he's bad.
I had Sixto. Like you guys just took both of them. I had Sixto, and then I was gonna say Brian Anderson was gonna do what Alec Boehm would do, like you said, Nick.
Okay. Yeah.
So,
Damn.
those were gonna be my hot takes.
Those are good takes. I like those.
Yeah. I'll go through my team real quick. So it's gonna be Braves, of course. Until someone beats them, I'm still gonna put them on the top. Bullpen kind of scares me a little bit, but I think they'll still produce. I got my Mets being second, getting that wild card 2. Nationals for third. No, not the Nationals. The Phillies for third. I think the lineup's going to produce a little bit better than they did last year. And then I have the Nationals fourth. Now I'm kind of rethinking it, but I'm going to have Nationals fourth, and then the Marlins fifth. And I think it's going to be closer than we think with the Marlins and Nationals. Maybe flip-flop that, but right now that's how I have it. And that, yeah, I really was going to say Sixto Sanchez is going to be a top 5 Cy Young candidate, or maybe top 10 come next year. I think he has dominant stuff, and he's going to show pretty much the majors what he's all about.
I'm excited.
Yeah. I think we learned a lot today on this one. I learned a lot.
I mean,
Yeah, a lot of it.
There's a reason this one's 2 hours. Took a huge deep dive into all these teams.
A lot of opinions changed for me.
Travis in my chat. We're live streaming this for the first time. I think we mentioned once or twice. Travis just said hot take for the Phillies. They're top 20 in bullpen ERA this year. I don't know, man. Top 25. I'll take that. Poor Phillies, dude. I can't talk shit.
These are probably worse. Like I would bet they're not going to be 30. It might be 29 though.
Yeah.
Well, right. I think that's going to do it for us in this one. If you guys don't have anything else, Scuffy, appreciate it.
Of course.
Definitely would love to have you on again at some point. The Mets do something this season, whether they're in first or they suck. We can talk about Mets baseball. Or maybe they're prepping for that wild card game against the Padres. That seems like a dream scenario. It seems like a lot of fun. But as always, guys, make sure you hit that subscribe button if you're watching on YouTube. This will be we live streamed it on Nolan's YouTube, but this is going to be on our regular YouTube channel as well. Go follow us on Spotify. Excuse me, just coughed. And Twitter and Instagram at DIR Podcast. Go follow us over there. And I think we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.